Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to Marvel's Spider-Man. It's time for episode 13 of New Game Plus. How's all the Spider Friends doing tonight? Thank you guys so much for getting up to over 40 likes for the first round of the stream. Your next like goal is, of course, 100. So, Final Fantasy is over now. Spider-Man has, I don't know, maybe a handful of streams left. And Ace Attorney is going to be off and on throughout the month of April and probably until May. So we're going to have to figure out what to stream now. Probably go back to Star Wars or try to find something else. Like I said, I was even looking on the break. There's really not that many games coming out this month. Not ones we can cover on this channel, anyway. So, yeah. I want to say there's at least 4 or 5 streams left of Spider-Man. Maybe.
Once I bring this thing to Oscorp,
Maybe.
I can figure out how to tell Harry the truth. Not gonna be easy.
Oh, are we at the Venom part already? Oh, I don't have to do the Venom part just yet. I can do other things. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do stuff to avoid going to Venom right now. Oh, that's fun. Could I also switch right to Miles if I wanted to do the Bebop mission?
And thanks earlier for the super chat on the stream, Cammy. Gaming Cammy, I think it is.
Alright guys, so since everybody's sad over the death of Aerith, it's time to say goodbye to Howard again. Just rip off the band-aid, everybody.
Like Howard needs me. He and Pidgey are okay.
Yoink. Nothing like a nice night of web-slinging and a clear... Up, JJ.
Listeners, you know, I don't fabricate information just because of my personal leanings. What I'm hearing, I take no pleasure in delivering to you. But it's my duty to report it nonetheless. It seems the newer Spider-Man has gone missing. Now, we can all agree these vigilantes need to be brought to justice. But it seems that may never come to pass. A trusted source claims they saw firsthand Spider-Man captured by the Hunters. Now, their track record speaks for itself. Should the worst befall this young man, I will be the last person to say, I told you so. Even though I was the first person to say it. Despite my campaign against these dangers to society, I don't wish harm on any other human being. So let us all come together and hope for Spider-Man's sake that he survives this ordeal, so he can face the courts and the punitive justice he deserves.
Wow, JJ. Oh, alright. Howard time. Time to go say... I don't think I actually ever did the Howard quest at night, so this is going to be new for me. Let's see, after that, and we see Harry and Venom happens, then... trying to think how much is left of this game. Like 4 streams, I think, is it. There's really no reason to do anything after that. Maybe because we've been doing all this Lego DC Supervillains stuff with shorts, maybe we could get away with doing Lego DC Supervillains as a live stream series.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I would be up for a change of doing something Lego related. Let's do a poll. What's the name of that one again?
Well, the 1,000-year door is coming up, so I was saying.
That's May. We're in April still, guys. We're in April still. We're in April. Like I said, Ace Attorney is going to be ongoing. off and on. Usually takes... Ace Attorney is usually every other day because it takes people almost 2 days to get 1,000 views now. Before it used to take a full day, but at the time of this stream tonight, Ace Attorney is at 800 views even. It needs 200 views in order to get another episode tomorrow. Final Fantasy and Ace Attorney used to alternate days once they both got into the, I would say, once their episodes were in the early 30s, something like that. 20s or late 20s. Ace Attorney, like, took it longer to get more episodes once it got into the, probably the 40s. It was right around, yeah, late 30s, early 40s. Usually takes 2 days to get another episode. I'm trying to think what else we were doing. We're doing some other stuff with it. Woohoo! Trying to think. What was the name of that unicorn game that came out?
Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah, that's it. Unicorn Overlord. Yeah, that's could be an option. That's a new game. And then we need one more game. One more game on the list. Because remember, I'm trying to find something that's going to have... something that at least is going to last the month, almost. Because they have the Toriyama game at the end of the month. We could totally do that, but that's, again, not until, like, the very end of the month. The Ninja Turtles game coming out on the 19th or the 20th won't last very long. It'll be, like, a few streams and then that'll be over. Because it's not a long game to begin with. It's like, it takes, like, 2.5 hours to beat the game. So, I'm not expecting more than one stream of that game. I have DLC for Street Fighter to do. Or not Street Fighter. Tekken. There's Tekken DLC. Where are you, Howard? There he is.
Spider-Man.
Hey, Howard. Hey, Pidgey. How are you both doing?
Oh, we're getting by. Would you like to join us?
Sure. What did you need?
Sometimes I just sit here, take it all in. Fairies coming in. See it?
Yeah. You and Pidgey getting on board?
Think I'll skip this one. Wait for the next. Used to love the ferry. Felt like I was sailing off on an adventure.
Howard?
See that yellow skipper? With the black bottom?
Not a bad way to get around.
Honey of a boat. Wish I could take that bumblebee out for a spin.
Hey, Howard?
Ride it all the way across the river to those 3 pillars. An ancient city hidden in the clouds.
Huh? 3 pillars?
Over to the right. Look for the red lights.
You mean those 3 smokestacks? Why there?
I worked in that factory for 20 years. Laid off. Lost my purpose for a while. And then when my wife passed, I lost my heart too. But my birds, they taught me how to fly again. Especially little Pidgey.
I'm so sorry, Howard. What can I do?
That's one. Can you spot Lady Liberty herself? She's way over to the left.
Yeah, there she is.
Watch.
What are... Oh, wow. A flock.
I need your help, Spider-Man. I'm finally going on an adventure. But I want to set my birds free first. Let them see the world outside this city.
They are pigeons.
Can you take them up north for me? Somewhere peaceful?
Oh, I don't know. Howard, this is your family.
It's their time. Try a whistle.
Okay, if you're sure. Let's go, birdies!
Alright guys, so this is just kind of a rough idea, but we have a couple options for you guys. What new stream series would you want to see now that Final Fantasy is over? Your choices are LEGO DC Supervillains, Star Wars Battlefront Classic, Unicorn Overlord, which was that Nintendo Switch RPG that came out at the end of March, and OG Skylanders. So those are your choices. And, yeah, I don't, again, it's because April is such a...
It's if we can find a way to do the OG Skylanders, though.
Well, I mean, if people vote for it, of course, you know, we'll find them. I know where they are.
I don't know. I can't promise that I can find them. Okay, we'll find them then. Luke's gonna find them.
They're in the office.
Okay.
Inside of the closet.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put a damper on it. Okay, so Luke will be finding them if we do Skylanders. I love Skylanders. That would be my pick.
Battery Park.
I'm
Nice
sorry.
memorials and stuff to poop on.
I don't know
Howard
what I
wanted you
said.
guys to see the world, though. We'll keep looking.
Oh. Birds.
What are the choices again, sweetheart?
Lego DC
the
Supervillains,
Brooklyn
Star
Bridge.
Wars,
some
Skylanders,
great
and
views.
Unicorn Overlord.
Which one is your favorite?
I would be fine doing
Oh, Lego DC Supervillains. Oh, wow.
Lego DC Supervillains.
That would be the easiest one to
Unicorn Overlord.
do. You really want to do Unicorn Overlord?
I like the story. I do like the story. And tonight, I believe I have a stream for Lisa on Harvest Moon 64.
Cool.
I just have to get that set up. So tonight at 11:30, guys, there will be a YouTube short. It has been uploaded and advertised, sort of.
Still not right. Ooh, a jet stream. Time to really fly.
Okay, there's the jet stream.
Yeah, it's...
Hey, Pidgey, do a barrel roll. Yeehaw!
Yes.
What about that woodsy area near my house? Harry and I used to hang there every day after school. It's where I'd live if I was a bird.
What did we say, Pete?
Oh, wow, a regatta. Let's check it out. Don't worry, birds. We're almost there.
Whoops.
Yeah, I mean, you can always rewatch it, Bowman. But, yeah, they weren't notifying a lot of people of our videos today for whatever reason. I'm sorry.
There's only
Oh,
50 people here
like
for
our
this
Red
stream,
Wings?
too, so...
Means a lot coming from Howard's pigeons.
Whoops. There we go.
Gonna miss chasing you birds all over the city.
I won't. I never enjoyed chasing the birds to begin with. Whoops.
Yeah, I would vote for Skylanders. That would be a challenge. And we can always buy the Skylanders again.
No, we have them all. They're inside the closet.
I would love to do Skylanders if people vote for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think we have the PS3 version of it too. I don't want to play the Wii version of it.
Yeah, we might even have a version we've never.
Hey there.
It won't take us that long to level up
Find
the
a place for
characters,
my
though.
babies to be
Yes,
free.
it did.
Thought of a place
have all
over
the
in
characters.
Queens.
They're just in a
A
box.
little spot I used to go to
In
with
the
an old
office.
friend. Tons of space for Pidgey and the gang.
That sounds nice. Thanks. Not many folks have been kind to me in my life.
Anytime, Howard. And you can still visit them. Take the train out. Gonna drop these birds off and I'll be right back. Howard?
Sad. Sad quest.
This game could have had better side quests, says Luke Batman.
Yep.
Okay, this is it. Your new
Oh,
home.
really?
Pidgey, you're in charge.
Did the first game have better?
Okay, I'm exhausted. I'll hitch the train back. Better go check on Howard. He must be missing them already. Oh no. Howard?
Looks like natural causes.
Oh, hey, Spider-Man.
Hey, sorry. Friend of mine.
Take all the time you need. If it helps,
It looked like he was at peace.
He was. He's finally on that adventure with his wife. Don't worry, Howard. The flock is free.
Oh, the Howard quest is done. Alright, guys and gals, let's keep those likes up so we can get some people in here. We're kind of struggling to get people in here for Spidey today. I guess we are going to be doing the Venom quest today, so maybe I need to add Venom on the thumbnail. But I'm not ready to do Venom just yet. Photo help! Next one. Just going to keep dragging this out to make Venom upset. Mysterio stuff, can't do that.
R.I.P. Howard, says Luke Batman.
Sad. Graffiti trouble, nope. Not doing graffiti trouble this time. Monster in Queens, that is the Monster in Queens is the Robo-Dog. That's the Robo-Dog. Alright, let's do photo help. Yep, Howard will be missed. Let's go with 1650. Photo help. Oh wow, yeah. Had a couple of YouTube shorts pick up again, which is what I figured. I mean, hey, it helps the hourly views. Alright, photo help.
Someone needs help with a photography project. Not sure how Spider-Man can help, but I'll give it a try.
Spider-Man help with a photography problem. With a glowing green ooze on his back. Whoops. And I guess we'll do Robo-Dog.
Hey everyone. Okay. One Spider-Man is missing. The other is not himself. So what can we do? I always say, Spider-Men inspire us to be our best selves. Well, it's time to prove that isn't just words. New York needs us. Spider-Man needs us. Remember friend of the pod, Dennis? Savior of the subway? Dennis is out there right now, leading a search party, 50 people strong, looking for the missing Spider-Man. And dang it, I am wrapping early today so I can join him. Check my socials for the meetup deets. We gotta do something, folks. Come on. Let's be heroes.
They're kind of behind on the news because we already rescued the other Spider-Man, but whatever.
Oh, the Eclipse wasn't as cool as when you saw it in the 90s. Nostalgia, wait.
There was a cool eclipse in the 90s. Yeah, everybody was freaking out about the eclipse. That was going to be the end of the world today.
Yeah, there were some people saying they were selling everything that they owned and that, like, we were going to lose power and, like,
Nope.
it was going to be the end of the world.
Just
I
an
don't know.
eclipse.
I don't know why people were freaking out. I was actually kind of nervous about it. I haven't gone outside the whole day because I guess I get spooked by stuff I see online. They were like, "Don't go outside or you'll die" or something. So I checked my flashlight, made sure I had a flashlight. I didn't go outside today, but I didn't even see the eclipse. I was streaming, so I don't know. It was just a normal, like, I couldn't have seen it anyway because
I slept through it.
there was, like, basically, there was just trees everywhere around where I am, so I can't see the sun anyway. I guess I could have gone into the parking lot or something. But I didn't, I had things to do.
Yep. Wee hee 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 hee. I wonder if we're ever going to get DLC for Spider-Man 2. I'm wondering. Oh, I had another good option I thought of. Like, I was thinking, what another cool superhero game. Did we ever stream? Because I don't know if we streamed it or not, but I don't remember if it was an episode series or if it was a live stream series, but Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch was really good. It was actually really fun.
Yeah, Y2K.
بابا جون نگران نباش هنوز دارم درس میخونم با لیلی.
Hey,
Gotcha.
hello to you as well.
I wanted to get a candid shot. I want to be a real photojournalist, you know? Document the city as it is. Like this photo. Captured by Peter Parker. That was his first cover photo way back in the day. I want to do that.
Oh, wow. Can't believe you have this. First cover. I think I actually remember when he took that. Mr. Jameson, it's Peter Parker. I called about selling you some photos. See, my uncle just passed and our mortgage is due and...
Parker, I didn't ask for your life story.
Sorry.
I'm sitting outside the Bugle finishing my coffee. If you can get here before I'm done, I'll look at your photos. But I'm warning you, I drink fast.
Mr. Jameson, I'm biking down 5th. The traffic...
If you want something, you go after it.
But...
Tell me something. Are you a New Yorker or some slack-jawed tourist?
New Yorker?
Then when something's in your path, you yell, "Coming through!" And if something blocks you, go around. New Yorkers always find a way. You know why people live in this town? Is it the cheap rent? The low cost of living?
No.
This godforsaken hellhole is the greatest city ever created.
Oh, no. Fish.
Stop looking for an excuse and keep going.
The smell.
Breathe it in, Parker. That's ode to Big Apple.
Mr. Jameson, I should focus on the road. Oh no, construction ahead. I'll never get to...
Eyes on the prize, Parker.
Excuse me, can I come through?
You're a New Yorker. Tell them you're coming through. Say, look out, halfwit. These are my streets.
Hey, halfwit. Oh, sorry, excuse me, scooting by.
Parker, pathetic. Be a man about it. Show them your manhood.
Yes, sir. Wait, what?
This is my favorite side quest. The banter between J. Jonah Jameson and Peter is hilarious. That's why, I don't know, if it takes a while for a Spider-Man 3 game, I would love like a Spider-Man origin game
Washington Square Park.
I'm a few steps away from
to
killing
focus
this coffee,
on,
Parker.
you know,
You better haul ass.
how Peter became Spider-Man.
He's gonna get himself killed.
Thanks.
Stop sounding so timid.
Sorry.
And stop apologizing.
Sorry.
Whoops.
I mean,
Focus on the road.
but you said...
Focus!
Is that guy getting mugged?
Happens all the time, Parker. Act like you live here.
Be a New Yorker.
1 million people in the city, sweetheart. Spidey ain't coming.
Hey, leave him alone.
What'd you say, you little toothpick?
Oh, that's in.
Hey, what are you, a tourist slackmouth? Just kidding.
Nobody gonna talk to me that way!
And yet, I did.
That's it. He's going down. Tear you apart, you little nerd!
This is gonna hurt. But not like permanently.
Oh, look at this feisty little stick figure.
Ooh, big guy.
The bigger you are, the... Not that you're fat. I didn't mean that.
Twitch a little.
Ta-da!
I did it. And it was fun, even.
So, yeah.
You okay?
I am. Because you stopped to help. Thanks.
Looks like they roughed up my bike, too. How will I get to the Bugle in time now? Oh, my photos. All but one of them are ruined.
All but one of them ruined. I mean, they look fine.
May needs this money. And I need this job. I can do this on foot. I have to.
Okay.
Out of the way! I'm a New Yorker!
Yeah, exactly.
Coming through, people!
There you go. He's just running through everything. Good times. There's the Daily Bugle. And there is Mr. Jameson.
Come on, come on! Where is he?
I always thought this was a restaurant he was hanging out at.
So there's some questions about games we're gonna do in the future. I'll have to wait till after we're done this quest because there's so much dialogue. But you can always ask us in a comment
Mr. Jameson?
too.
Peter Parker.
You're late.
I have something you're gonna want to put on the front page of the Bugle.
Cocky little guy, aren't you?
Just trying to wear my confidence on the outside. Like a New Yorker.
Parker, this is terrible. Your lighting is flat, your composition is awful. God knows why you're shooting on film like some kind of caveman. And your nose is bleeding. But you're in luck. I need a picture of the spider creep for tomorrow's front page. Congratulations! You're officially a Bugle photographer.
Really? Thank you, sir. You won't regret it.
Are you okay? Because you've been staring at that for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me how to meet this guy? Peter Parker?
You don't want his career. You want yours. But what I can tell you is that he learned to go after what he wanted. And if one route didn't work, to find another way around.
Okay, I'll find another way. Give me an action shot I can bring to the Bugle.
Oh, well, sure. This good?
Yeah, and when you jump, angle left so I get your silhouette.
I will. You got it.
Ready, set, jump! Go, Spidey! See you next time!
Look out, turkeys! New Yorker coming through!
Okay, so, whatever people... I can web sling for a few minutes if people have some questions.
I mean,
done.
it takes a lot of... I can't always refer every question to Luke. So, some of the questions, if I don't ask your question... Because I like to enjoy the story as well, so...
A monster!
If I
Queens?
don't
Better check it out.
ask your question, you guys can always leave a comment after the stream. That's... Not only does it help the channel, but it's easier to get back to you for questions than in a stream. Are you guys gonna do a Let's Play of Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes, Class of Heroes Complete Edition?
Not planning on any other major RPGs unless, other than Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did not do well. And when I mean it didn't do well, we should have technically been done with that game in the month of March. But like I said, it took the viewers a day or two to get 1,000 views, so there were literally days where Final Fantasy was struggling to get a new episode every day or every other day. So to do another RPG like that, only having like 60 or 70 or 80 people watch, is not a good business model.
I guess it's just one... I guess it was just one paragraph of questions, so I was a little overwhelmed.
I like RPGs, but especially with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, what it showed me is people aren't really interested in like watching an RPG, which I feel like RPGs are perfect for live streams because RPGs are long in general. And you can have less episodes of a RPG on a live stream and get through the game faster than you can like with uploads. Because uploads, you could be looking at, if we did an uploaded series of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, probably would have been over 100 episodes. If not, maybe 70, maybe 60 episodes. It would have been a lot. We ended after 36 episodes, so There was that. Coolest monsters in New York.
Isaiah says, I was thinking of playing games like Mario Color Splash or Origami King to lead up to Thousand Year Door. Yeah, I mean, that sounds cool, Isaiah. That's a good idea. I don't know if we'll be doing that, but that's a good idea. I don't know what we're gonna do. So Zelda fangirl was saying that there was an eclipse in the United States. I mean, not an eclipse, an earthquake. I didn't even know there was an earthquake. I've been sitting here streaming all day. I didn't even see an eclipse happen. I had light shining through my door the entire time. I never even saw, like, when I was like, I wonder when the eclipse is. I looked online and it was like, the eclipse is happening right now. I was like, well, the sun is shining brightly in the sky, so it's not happening where I am. And then I never felt an earthquake, so I haven't felt literally nothing at all today. But I believe you guys that there was an earthquake and an eclipse. I just didn't. I'm sure there was like a partial eclipse if I had gone outside, but yeah, that's cool that you can remember the eclipse from the 90s. I remember going outside and looking at the eclipse in the 90s as well.
Eclipse in the 90s looked orange.
Yeah, it was a little bit. We watched it with certain glasses and stuff. Nostalgia Joey was saying that when he was in the 90s, he remembered going outside and they said there was like, I don't know, I'm gonna get his comment wrong. It's like, one of my students in my school saw darkness around me and the teacher and students went out to see what was going on in the eclipse, and that's when I saw it for the first time, says Nostalgia Joey. So there was like darkness surrounding stuff.
Yeah, I was
really interesting.
The last eclipse I remember, I was in school for it.
Yeah.
And it was the middle of the day, but it was like almost like it became nighttime for, I think it was like 30 minutes or something like that.
I remember we had these glasses and this one kid in our class was like, I don't need these glasses. And like they just stared at it and the teacher kept making them put the glasses on, but they were like, I don't need it, I'm fine. And like, I think they went to the nurse's office after that. Don't remember, but it was just like, you always have that one kid in your class that's gonna be like, because it can hurt your eyes if you're staring right at the sun, like, for a long time.
You could go blind, yeah. Burn your retina.
Yeah, it's better to wear those weird glasses things. Your town was dimly lit? Oh, wow. Interesting empty space. I saw it. I was in the path of totality. Awesome, Droggle. Oh, so Droggle saw it up where he is. That's cool.
Hello, ma'am.
Who's there? I don't recognize your voice.
It's Spider-Man? Oh, I didn't realize.
Alba. Charmed to meet you.
So, you need my help?
Yes. There's a monster in my backyard. I can hear it at night. Scratching.
Could it be a stray dog? Or a rat?
My allergies could sense a stray dog half a mile away. And even New York rats don't get as big as whatever that is.
Is there anybody else here who might have noticed it? Family member? Guide dog?
Just me. No family. No neighbors. No service animals. Allergies, remember? Whatever it is, I need it gone.
Got it. I'll look around and let you know what I find.
Please. I cannot afford to repair any more damage. Fixed income, you know.
Alright, so we're doing the Monsters in New York side quest now. Whoops. Why can't I go through the door? Okay, there we go. I feel like Spidey's a Ghostbuster with his proton pack on the back with the symbiote moving. You can actually see the symbiote is moving, too. But that's why, I mean, this is not just some simple thermos. Like, they're using sound waves or something to suppress the symbiote inside that tube. So it would have been cool if, like, Miles was given, like, more, like, fleshed out aspect of the story. Like, you know, to find out, like, how he found this magical thermos or something like that. That Oscorp thermos. Because that's just not a regular thermos. It's all lit up in the inside. He had to get it from somewhere. I doubt Mary Jane got it. Because, look, you see how there's like certain things that are holding the symbiote in place and stuff like that? Like it's containing it. Otherwise, because it was just like a regular container, it would shatter. And Miles just magically pulls this thermos out of nowhere. Like, that's the type of side quest he should have gotten instead of Haley's, like, death thing or, you know, his school thing or something like that. Because that actually adds some value to the story. And as well, it gives Miles more things to do. Like, hey, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Because it would be, like, more of him actually helping Peter and stuff like that. As well as, maybe he got it from Dr. Connors or something like that. They could have shown that.
Yeah.
That would have been, you know, adding weight to the story instead of basically Miles is kind of the filler of the game, and he could have had more substance in the game and more things to do in terms of the Venom storyline to kind of connect him with Harry and all these other characters, but they didn't.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he's not interacting with any of the villains directly, really.
Even though Miles has like superpowers in this, like Miles' role in this doesn't feel like Miles' role in the Miles Morales game. It feels like Miles' role in the Spider-Man 2018 game, but the only difference is, you know, he's Spider-Man, so he has his spider powers and stuff, and he's not being civilian Miles. But that feels like about how detached Miles is from the story. He has his own side story in the game, but the overall game still is about Peter. But there were things that they could have incorporated both Spider-Man with Venom to add more to the storyline. Like, you know, we have to find a way of containing the symbiote, and then he goes and he does a side quest for Dr. Connors or something like that. That would have added weight to Miles' character instead of him just like his little side quest of revenge against Martin Lee. That's basically his only major role in the story. Is nothing to do with Venom. It's Martin Lee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely, Luke.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Let's see here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think I remember that a little bit too, Nostaljoy, where you guys actually waited till the sun got a little darker and then you could look at it. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought we had some, like, they weren't actual glasses, but they were, like, glasses that were, like, cardboard.
I can pick up traces.
Because I remember, like, that they had, like, we had these weird makeshift glasses that we cut out. And they were, like, made of paper, and they had
came from the woods.
something. Like, they're super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember always being... I know that I had some because I remember freaking out because they were like, if you look directly at the sun, you'll burn your retinas. And I kept seeing the sun come through, peeking around my glasses that they gave me. They were supposed to protect my eyes. And I kept thinking my retinas are going to burn, like I'm going to die.
Well, that's why you don't stare at the eclipse the whole time.
Yeah, I just...
It's also better to film it.
In our school though, like all of us kids were staring at it the whole time. Like they had us just... Our teacher was staring straight ahead, and all the kids were staring straight ahead. And I kept looking down at the ground, like I'm gonna kill my eyesight here. I don't want my eyes to be... I was very concerned.
Yeah, that's why you film it and then you watch it later. That's what my class did.
That's more logical.
Well, because
I don't know why we went
for
out
one,
there.
the radiation isn't going to be as strong watching it back on a video. So, I mean, there were a lot of smart reasons why to do that. My teacher filmed it, and then we watched it in class.
Well, you could just put the camera towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't even have to be looking through the camera to film it, to be completely honest, as long as you have it centered on there.
Yeah, and then you just popped the VHS tape out of the recorder and popped it into the VCR at the school, and boom, people watched the eclipse.
Miles is like Robin, so he's like the side story character.
Yeah, but Robin usually has more to do.
Definitely Game Wing, yeah.
That would be like... Okay, let me put this in perspective for you. That'd be like if, in a future Arkham game, Robin's main role was dealing with Crazy Quilt. And he didn't interact with Batman, like, dealing with the final boss character until the end of the game. Like, he was just off on his own going after Crazy Quilt, and he had no substance to the story at all. That's what they did to Miles in this. Like, Miles could have had some connection to, like, the symbiote stuff to, you know, make him more of, like, a character that has some stakes, but he's just kind of doing his own thing, going after, essentially, his Crazy Quilt, Martin Lee, and that's it. And then it's not until... Then it felt... The build-up when Miles and Spider-Man actually work together at the end of the game, it's not as cool as when Spider-Man confronts Doc Ock at the end of his game. or when, you know, Miles confronts his archenemy at the end of his game. It was like Miles just kind of there and he shows up and he fights Venom, but again, even Venom says it in the fight, I don't know you, you know, you're not really part of this. It felt weird. It was just like, well, we have to have Miles in the final fight.
Right, yeah, it's like Arkham Knight's game wing. You know, where Robin was put away in the little cell and he couldn't really interact.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So it's something strong enough to rip through metal. Great.
I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like to me, like they were trying to, like,
more gunk.
It's like they were trying to not.
It's either leaky or slobbery. Yeah. This stuff leaves a real strong trail.
I keep thinking I talk over stuff.
You are.
It feels like, okay, well then I won't.
You're not
talk.
now. Talk now.
Alright, well, as soon as I start talking, they'll say something else.
Just talk now.
But it felt like they were trying to make Miles the sidekick, but then also make him not the sidekick. So by making him not the sidekick, they gave him all these important things to do, not having anything to do with the main villain. Because he's, you know, his own Spider-Man. So they were trying to make him not the sidekick, but then by making him not the sidekick, they actually made it worse, where he wasn't actually part of the main story as much. They kind of, it wasn't a good idea what they did, where they were trying to make him, it's too soon for him to be his own Spider-Man, because he still needs to work, you know, as a team with Peter for a while before he can kind of branch out on his own. Like
well, here's another example. Like Miles' mission here, there's like a bugle. Tell me what in the world, other than just like showing the, you know, his culture, the trumpet thing, the trumpet storyline here, no connection to
it's no connection
the Venom
to Venom.
stuff.
If they had connected that to Venom, that would have been interesting. Connect the jazz concert to Venom. That would have been interesting. Have Venom attack the jazz concert.
That's not the only thing. It also, the bugle thing where he's doing that cultural museum thing, no connection to Kraven the Hunter. It's just filler.
Yeah, they could have connected his story better with the villains. Yep.
Miles high school stuff,
I agree.
which I always skip. Nothing to do with the overall story. It's filler. I don't bother with it. The deaf girl, no connection to the Hunters, no connection to Venom, no connection to any Spider-Man villains. It's just filler. The only story content really in this game is Peter Parker, like, and the whole Venom arc, and of course Kraven. And Miles is really not really in that orbit of the storyline until he gets kidnapped by Kraven. And then, of course, he's a part of it. But the stuff where he just shows up at the end, the only reason he gets associated with everything happening with Venom is because of the invasion of the symbiotes at the end of the game. And of course, Miles gets pulled into it, but he has no connection. He has no relationship with Venom. He's just kind of like thrown in there at the end to be a part of the boss battle, but it always felt weird because he really never had anything to do with the main story. Most of his stuff outside of Martin Lee is all filler content. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's not to be mean, it's the truth.
Like all his side stories were cool, but they weren't connected to the main villains.
The side stories were okay, but they had... they don't matter.
If they connect... Yeah, they don't matter because it has nothing to do with the main villain of the game. And like you said, like, at the end where he says, I don't really know you... Yeah, that's like a horrible... Like, there was a missed opportunity. Like,
but here's the thing. In the trailer, when they were hyping up the game, Venom was attacking both Miles and Spider-Man, and it looked like he hated both of them.
Yeah.
So the build-up for the game with that, like, whatever it was...
The way that they made it...
The way that they made it look like...
They made it look like they were both going to be, like, taunted and attacked by...
They both looked like they're going to be wrecked by Venom, and Venom was going to be, like, this really big, you know, nasty villain. But it...
Yeah, but Venom wasn't. He was just attacking Spider-Man, and then Miles just came in to help out.
More or less, yeah.
Like, oh, I'll help you out because I'm your friend. But it should have been like Venom should attack both of them. I mean, I don't want to say this, but like, I mean, Venom could have like captured Miles' mom or something. That would have made Miles angry. That would have really impacted it.
The stuff with Miles and Martin Lee bled into the Venom stuff because it led to the creation of the anti-Venom suit. But again, that that story arc kind of like was connected to the Venom stuff. It like shifted or pivoted toward it, because like the whole thing was Venom, or the whole thing was you know, getting revenge against Martin Lee and dealing with that. That was Miles' story. And then because of the whole invasion of the symbiote thing, like it pivoted, and they had to go into Peter's mind, Martin Lee and Miles, to unlock the anti-venom.
Well, if I was writing the story, then what I would have had is Miles' mom would have been at the jazz concert, and Venom comes in and is destroying like stuff at the jazz concert, destroying all these like priceless things in the museum.
There's something in its side.
You know, attacking people, and then he like takes his mom. Then Miles is really angry. Then Miles is coming after him.
Well, Miles and Genki do get kidnapped, kind of, but not really. They're just
they
at
get
the wrong
kidnapped
place
by
at the wrong
Raven
time.
the Hunter.
No.
Wait.
Symbiotes.
Oh, by the symbiote.
Symbiote invasion. They get trapped inside of a train.
It would have been more interesting if Venom captured someone. Yeah.
He doesn't know Miles, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, then they should have written it in so he did know
Did you
him.
do that?
So, this was kind of a desperate move, but I dumped 10 million random dog videos to its pattern recognition database.
Nice. What should we do with this thing? Is it dangerous?
Try fetch?
You want to get the barrels? Are you a happy puppy? Want to play chase?
Alright, so we're at...
I hope the next game Miles has more of an opportunity to prove himself, says PJ. Yeah, exactly. Nostalgia always says, like I said, Amber, disappointing. I was hoping for more appearances of villains such as the Chameleons or Green Goblin, says Raspberry.
Green Goblin they'll save for a third game.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it would have been interesting, like, if Venom got confused because he was attacking two Spider-Men. He didn't know how they could be in two different, one place across the city and another place in another part. Would have been interesting if they tag teamed him like that, where it was confusing Venom. So he was getting attacked on every side by Spider-Man, but I don't know. There was a lot of things they could have done with it. They could have put Miles or his mom or one of his family or even his friend at risk. Yeah.
That's it.
You're
Good
right.
dog.
They should have
I'll try to access its memories while it's distracted. Man, a lot of corruption in these logs.
So, the arrow. Why would hunters shoot their own robot pets?
Target practice? Let's find out.
Playing fetch with the dog.
Yeah. No, the way that you just described that, where if they connected,
Hey, what's your name anyway?
like Venom is the main villain of the game,
Designation
so
F1D0. Fido.
Good to know at least one hunter has a sense of humor.
This log is cached to a server. Dare I?
How deeply do you believe in your firewall?
Deeply enough to download this audio playback.
Unfortunately, they killed a lot of Spider-Man's villains.
yeah.
You are the traitor. I was doing my job.
Defective garbage, get back here!
We've got company! We must have traced our log access.
Easy there, easy. Stay.
There we go.
Oh wow. I forgot about this. This is kind of cool.
It's just a little side quest. You just
I mean,
kinda...
these...
Can't access manual override. Always wanted to say that.
Focus! I think it's scared!
It's definitely acting like it.
Maybe that recording scared it!
Repressed final memories? Always bad. I think its owner shot it.
And covered up a murder!
Yoink.
Fido, stop!
Right through the wall. Wow.
No, not the church!
There you are. Come here. Yes, I should have blown you to bits with an explosive boat. Yeah, come here. God bless you.
So you're the guy Fido's so scared of? Oh, it's on.
The guy's already died. Particular bird. Oh wait, there's more of them? I thought we took care of these guys.
Raspberry says, I think it would have been better.
Not going anywhere with you.
It's just combat.
It would have been better if the game was filled with more creatively done side quests, such as stealing the spiders that bit Peter or something, says Raspberry.
The spiders are all dead.
Well, Luke was just saying, like, well, I had it on muted for a cutscene. So I said, I don't remember, were there better side quests in the first game? And Luke's like, yeah.
It won't hurt you
I forgot. The first game had a lot more side quests that involved actually life or death situations, where you were actually rescuing someone from a car, or from a trunk of a car, or getting crushed by a car.
There was more stakes.
A lot of side quests had to do with rescuing people that were in actual danger, or like there's a burning building or something.
No, burning buildings was this one.
Oh, but like in this one, I feel like some of the side quests were like, oh, here's a puppy, we can, or like, oh, we're gonna paint and make some nice paint on the side of the wall. So it was more like, okay, these.
Okay, let's have a look. Little pinch. Ready? Good boy.
You sure this is safe?
Hey, if 10 million dog videos can't make you a good boy, there's no hope for any of us. And you're a good boy, aren't you?
Who's a good boy?
Just to be safe, though, I'll wipe its memory completely. Except the videos. And you.
Good call. We're back.
Spider-Man? Wait, we?
Me and this curious guy.
Oh no, my allergies.
It's okay. Earlier you mentioned you couldn't get a guide animal? Well, I found you one. He's a dog, I guess, made of various metals. Very allergy friendly. He's also got a few hundred guide dog videos uploaded to his memory.
Really? He's everything I hoped for. I can have him trained at the center so he can be properly registered. Already so helpful. Thank you, Spider-Man. Adios.
Alright, that's that.
Yeah. Luke has me on mute for the cutscene so I don't accidentally talk over it.
Yeah, because Amber talks over cutscenes.
So, how would we improve this game, Raspberry? Well, I think Luke and I kind of, looked at a lot of things about this game earlier. I think we've had a lot of discussions about it, like, with our fan base, with our viewers, and people have had a lot of great ideas of how they would. I think one of the main problems with this game was that the stakes weren't high enough, like, with the quests. Like, the side quests just didn't have as high stakes, like what we were saying, and then, like, I think I never even thought about connecting Miles to... I don't really know what Luke would do, but personally, like, we were just talking about how he could be connected to the main villain. I think having the story connecting more Miles into the main villain would be really interesting. Like, maybe he could be... Since the main villain is... the main villain is Venom, and actually Harry is really Venom. So... for Miles to be connected to the main villain, he would have to be connected to the Osborns somehow. I think. If I was writing the story, I would make Miles, like, somehow, I don't know, the pizza delivery guy, or somebody that knows Harry, or, or Mr. Osborn. Maybe he's working for one of Mr. Osborn's companies, or, like, as an intern or something. Like, he has to know the Osborns in some way, I think, to be, like, around them. That way Harry can get angry at Miles and Peter. Because Harry's angry at Peter, and Harry's not angry at Miles. Like, he says, I don't know you. So, to fix that problem, personally, I think I would make Harry angry at Miles and Peter. So, somehow find some way where Harry can get angry at Miles. That's my personal opinion. I don't know. But you guys can have your own opinions about it. I don't know. I think that also I wouldn't have killed off every single villain right at the beginning. That was a terrible idea. it would have been better if we had more villain opportunities. That's just my personal opinion.
The only problem is, like, the whole Miles and Harry thing wouldn't work because Miles is in high school. What you could do, in order to kind of have stories overlap, is give Miles stuff to do that's in connection with the overall story. Because Miles, it feels like he's kind of like a guest character that appears, and you can switch and play as him. But for the most part, his stories do not overlap with Peter's, except for Martin Lee is a character that kind of connects both of them. Because Spider-Man has interacted with Martin Lee and had a big role with him in the first game. And of course, Miles has a connection to Martin Lee because his father was one of the casualties of Martin Lee's rampage. So there's a connection there.
Like, there should be more. They should have made more connections.
What makes Spider-Man work, and Spider-Man games and Spider-Man movies, is if Spider-Man actually has a relationship with his villains. Like, he knows them on a personal level. Miles doesn't know Harry at all, but he doesn't really need to know Harry or, you know, Osborn.
I just got a message from our mystery bot tracker.
What did it say?
I don't know yet. It's using some weird syntax, and there's gaps in the code. I can figure it out. I just need another iced coffee. And maybe a blueberry muffin.
Okay. So, like, for instance, Miles finds this magical thermos that is not only able to contain the symbiote, but it's using a type of technology in order to keep it in stasis. Otherwise, you know, this thing would probably be able to break free while Spider-Man is just kind of like, you know, lollygagging around New York City and collecting these spider bots and just really not doing anything. There's actually, I zoomed in on it, there's stuff happening inside of the thermos that is suppressing the symbiote from breaking out and repossessing Peter. Now, where did Miles get that? Well, you could have added like a quick hour storyline where MJ tells Miles to go and see Doc Connors. Doc Connors is connected to both Harry Osborn and Peter Parker, as well as the Lizard and Mary Jane, and then you could kind of have all those characters outside of Peter, who's kind of bonkers, you know, deal with that.
Yeah, it would have been nice if everyone was more connected. I would have liked to see Miles interact with Mary Jane more. Exactly.
This is how you easily could have done it, though. When, what's his name? When Connors is so scared of Peter, after he tells Peter, hey, you know, we need to destroy that thing, and Peter starts talking to himself and doing all that other stuff, immediately, I would have had him contact Mary Jane, and then Mary Jane would contact Miles, and he would be kind of like the buffer, or the guy who is kind of like there in case like Spider-Man goes rogue or something, or a way for them to help take the suit off Spider-Man and contain the suit, stuff like that. It gives Miles more to do, as well as it kind of like gives the audience kind of like an, okay, so they did have a plan to deal with the symbiote. It wasn't just this random MacGuffin thermos that shows up randomly. Because even, what's his name? Like, Kraven the Hunter didn't know how to contain the suit. Yeah. So it's not one of his, like, you know, Norman Osborn gadgetry things. Like, it obviously came from Doc Connors. So just giving that little bit of leeway into the story with Miles would have made all the difference, because then we have context where the magical thermos came to, and as well as we're giving Miles more of a relationship to the overall symbiote situation. The symbiote could later use his rage for when Miles stuck him inside the thermos.
Yeah.
And took him away from Peter and separated him. Like, all those could add, like, little building blocks for later on.
Yeah, Raz says, I find it conflicting with Harry as Venom because Venom himself was made to actually be an anti-Spider-Man at the whole carnival thing. Made his point very different from the actual Venom.
But do you see how easy that is? It's like basically you're making small little building blocks that eventually they all connect together like Legos. So that little Miles side quest working with Mary Jane and Doc Connors getting the magical thermos and finding out, you know, how electricity or sound waves... Because basically what happens is when Miles is fighting Black Suit Spidey, he just automatically knows how to defeat him. He knows that sound is the weakness. He would have learned all that stuff from Doc Connors.
I have an idea. You know, Miles is always talking about how he's trying to be in elite schools and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't... Because I remember I was in the Junior Engineering Technical Society in school, and we studied some really weird stuff, like, after school in the lab. I'm just saying, like, in his school, Miles could have done, like, a sound experiment for his school, and then when he's doing this sound experiment at school, then he could have been like, oh my gosh, like, he could have learned something from his school. It could have been, like, connected to the symbiote or something, where he learned, I don't know. He could have learned, instead of from Dr. Connors, he could have learned it from his school. Or maybe Dr. Connors could have come in as a guest, like, speaker to school or something.
It would, I mean, the Connors stuff is so rushed as it is. Like, I'm just thinking like a quick little hour side mission where Miles goes and he sees Dr. Connors. Dr. Connor fills him in what he needs to do. And then Miles being conflicted that he might have to fight Spider-Man. Instead, it just like, you know, he gets rescued from Spider-Man and immediately they start fighting each other. So there would have been more context, there would have been more build-up.
Yeah.
And there would have been more of an emotional, like, you know, kind of struggle with Miles instead of Miles just being like, all right, I'm going to fight you.
Like,
be kind of conflicted about it.
There was more of an emotional connection with Sandman at the very first cutscene than there was with Venom at the end. Because they were talking about his kid and, you know, they hoped things would go better for him. And, like, they were trying to talk him down like he was a human being. Yeah, it was, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm just imagining right now a cooler ending than the one they had. Didn't they have an ending where, am I wrong, or am I imagining the ending from the first game where Mary Jane and Peter Parker are on that date at the diner at the end?
That's the first game.
Oh, that's the first game? Oh, you know what would have been so cool? Is if they recreated that, and Peter Parker and Mary Jane are having a date, and then they look over, and 3 booths down, Miles and the girl that he's with in this game were having a date. Like, on their first date. And then he just kind of, like, nods to him, like, sup. Like, you know, like, and then, like, the waitress is like, oh, are you guys, is this together or are you separate? And then Miles is like, oh, we're together, or something like that. That would have been kind of cute.
The whole point of the ending was a passing of the torch, though. It was a roughly done passing of the torch. But it was a passing of the torch moment. So...
Oh, yeah, the ending. I remember the ending now. I know what it was. Like, he said, I'm gonna need some time or something. Oh, I forgot.
He has that awkward breakup with Miles at the end of the game. Where, yeah.
I think I like my ending better, even though it was a passing of the torch.
It was supposed to be a rough patching of the torch thing. That's why they did it. It was rushed. It was heavily rushed. But
well, they should put that little date thing in sometime. I hope Insomniac can steal that from me. I don't even care. As long as they put it in the game.
You took that from the ending of the Nolan Rises
Yeah,
movie.
I did. I took that from that, but that's okay. Yeah, because that's exactly what happened in the Nolan movie. Where, exactly, I did take it from the Nolan movie.
And
but
also
it's okay, you could use it in this game. It could be used.
It doesn't fit.
Yes, it was, because, yes, it would. It would be cute. It would be adorable.
No, because they already did the date sequence, as well as, like, at the end it shows Mary Jane and Peter together. And Miles leaves to go be Spider-Man.
But he says, during this game, he says to, I forgot what her name is. He says to the girl he likes, like, hey, you want to go out with me? So they never show him actually go out with her. So that would have been, like, conclusive for me. I wanted to see their date. They're leaving me hanging here. It just says, do you want to go out with me? That's it. I didn't get to see them go out.
Okay. Oops. What time is it?
That would have been satisfying to me.
Alright guys, 10 minutes until it's time to push the YouTube short. 10 minutes till YouTube short.
I don't know if we're about to see a cutscene or what.
So the phone number on the impounded truck was the pre-1970s kind with letters. Harlem 74321. Did the truck that got away have the same one?
Yeah. But I'm not sure I'm following.
Pre-1970s trucks were terrible polluters because they had no catalytic converters. My office did an initiative to get them off the roads. So there are now very few old trucks in this neighborhood. Si tuviéramos alguna forma de localizarlo.
I got an idea. Nice work, Ma. Back in business.
Okay, there we go. So it's daytime.
They probably left behind some kind of residue.
I thought it was gonna be a nighttime mission
DJ
now.
Miles.
Hey, Miles.
Yep.
I heard there's a
I'm
star-studded
DJ Miles.
gala at the museum.
If I find the missing pieces, yeah.
Never been to a gala before.
Do you want to go?
Thought you'd never ask. What should I wear? Black, Loki glam?
Bro, let me focus.
Right. Good luck.
Whoops, I was in the middle of motion, so Miles was frantically yelling.
Yeah, I don't understand Droggle's comment, so I'll try to read it word for word. The guy who pulled funding from the museum could have been tied to Oscorp, says Droggle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that, but Luke understands. And Droggle said also his uncle's side quest could have been more involved in the sound sampling for the bell sound, says Droggle.
Yes!
Oh.
Exactly, Droggle.
Interesting. Yeah, his uncle's quests. Yeah, so he would have learned from his uncle how to stop the thing.
I can't believe people would do this. I was so excited about this exhibit. The whole museum, really. Look, this is an unfortunate situation I'm in here. I mean, you know how much I care about protecting the collective history of this community.
I do, which is why I hope this won't derail your support. Okay, let's see if those trucks left anything behind.
Spider-Man's here. Spider-Man, any news?
Working on some new leads. I'll let you know.
Well, I've got business to attend to, but you know my feelings. For me, it's about preserving the history at all costs.
Hmm.
Hey, Spider-Man. We know you're helping on this.
I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to be doing here. Oh, right. This.
Nostaljoy says it could have been like...
This looks like it could be something from a prehistoric heist
Yep,
truck.
wait till later, guys.
Sorry, I never know when to...
Smell that sulfur. Definitely from an old engine. Maybe I can isolate it further. To identify the substance, need to get rid of the contaminants. Got it. Aromatic hydrocarbon. This will never make it through a catalytic converter. Hey, Ma. You were right. That truck was so old, it left a unique contaminant in its wake.
Fantastico. Can you track it down?
On it as we speak.
I suddenly have hope we might really be able to find everything, pull off the gala, and save the museum.
Whoa, 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 whoa. One thing at a time.
Okay, I know. Well, be careful, and let me know what you find.
Alright, so we have to track the missing musical instruments. So, even though this is a fun side story for Miles, it doesn't have any bearing to the plot at all. Whereas most of the side quests and even the DLC for the 2018 Spider-Man game, they all felt like, in some capacity, they were connected to the overall story. They were not necessarily in cahoots with the villain, but it all felt like it meshed together with the overall story. Whereas Miles' stuff feels like it's, for the most part, self-contained. Almost like this is DLC for the Miles Morales game, rather than for the Spider-Man 2, you know, Venom and Kraven thing. It has no bearing. His high school stuff, getting back the musical instruments, it's very cultural-based, and that's fine, but it should have had some type of ties or lead into the overall story, because what it does is it separates Peter and Miles, and it doesn't really make them feel like they're a team working together. It feels like they both have separate storylines, and they're working in the same city. Like, they're more co-workers than they are partners.
Yeah, they're not working as a team. They just happen to know each other, and they both happen to be Spider-Man.
Exactly. That's what it felt like.
And they kind of brush by each other once in a while, but they're not like working as a team 24/7. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, Nostaljoy was saying the date relationship could have been like the anime Chizuru and Kota of Kanokan. Peter, the shy guy, and Mary Jane is the bold girl times 100. It kind of would have been like that, Amber. Awesome, Nostaljoy. I don't think I've seen that one. I still think my idea wasn't quite like the Nolan film, but I guess I'll disagree with Luke on that.
Still tracking the stuff. Am I going the right way?
It feels kind of like they tried to repeat the first 2 games into like a single game, says Raspberry.
Kind of.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they put the first 2 games and morphed them together, smashed them together. That's how I always feel. Like, we're playing Miles Morales the game, we're also playing Spider-Man 1 the game.
But the problem is,
at the same time.
Unlike the 2018 game, there's a disconnect with the story. So the reason why a lot of people got annoyed with some aspects of Spider-Man, which I agree with, is Spider-Man 2, like, it keeps, like, separating itself from the overall story. Whereas, from the beginning, the middle, and an end, everything that happened in the 2018 game mattered overall to the entirety of the story. Whereas, Spider-Man 2 is littered with tons of filler, and a lot of that is Miles Morales.
The rest of it fell off the truck. You better frickin' find it! I understand, sir. We'll keep looking for the last item.
He's stiffing us. What did I tell you?
No. He'll pay when we deliver the saxophone.
Yeah, the saxophone. I think you know where.
Settle down, idiot. This guy's loaded. Just need to make him happy.
Oh, I am done.
DJ Miles.
So when did you get this suit anyway?
I unlocked this suit in my original playthrough. I just didn't play it right.
Wow, it's a cool looking suit. I like how it kind of glows in the dark.
But again, the people who wrote the 2018 Spider-Man game were better than the people who wrote the sequel.
It wasn't the same people?
Probably not the entire team, no. Also, Sweet Baby was involved with this game as well. So, I mean, you could tell some aspects that they were definitely involved with, especially when it came to the Miles Morales, like, narrative. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely changed, like, some things. I mean, the most noticeable thing that they changed that we were told about was that they...
Okay.
They tried to...
Let's open up that truck and get the rest of those museum pieces.
Well, of course, besides Mary Jane, the most noticeable thing that they changed in this game from how I think the original vision was, they tried to get rid of the...
Empty. They must have already given their boss whatever was in here. All roads seem to lead to that guy.
I can't flip. I was gonna flip around.
Well, I never know when there's gonna be dialogue, so...
There's always text at the bottom.
I know, but I could have... So, yeah, I mean, that... Like, we talked about it on another stream, that basically...
Okay. So there's something out there they're still looking for.
He just happens to leave the cell phone out. Not in his pocket, just randomly out there.
The second truck, but it was empty.
Oh
no.
But they lost one of the pieces somehow. Charlie Parker's saxophone.
Oh, Miles. Head over to C.J. Walker Park.
Okay. Why?
One of our interns said she heard a guy talking about a saxophone he found. I didn't believe her at first. She's kind of a bochichera.
If it's the one these guys lost, their boss seemed really interested in finding it.
As he should be. Charlie Parker's a legend. That saxophone is priceless.
Who should I look for at the park?
I don't have a name. They said a trumpet player was talking about it.
Trumpet. Got it.
Thanks, Ñarañita. Let me know what happens. Te quiero.
Like, think about it this way, guys and gals. This is the easiest way to explain this. In the 2018 Spider-Man game, we see that Spider-Man is dealing with consequences for being Spider-Man. His life is falling apart. His job's not doing very well. He has a internship or a partnership with Otto Octavius, but he shows up for work late a lot. He doesn't have a stable relationship. You know, his aunt is worried about him. And then, you know, these villains just end up popping up out of the woodwork. But they're all connected to, you know, how Spider-Man is. Like, Spider-Man's kind of riding on a high for defeating the Kingpin. But then over the course of the game, he has to deal with a much bigger threat, which was Dr. Octavius. And Dr. Octavius was the one who actually broke all the villains out of jail to mess with Spider-Man at one arc of the game. So even though he wasn't overall connected, like, fully to the Sinister Six messing with Spider-Man, he broke them out of prison, so he is still connected to the overall plot of the game. So everything that happens, from the side villains that you fight, And everything from Dr. Octavius' role to Norman Osborn's role to Peter to MJ to Miles, it all flows together with everything. And at the focal point of that is Peter and Otto Octavius, like through everything. In this game, there's so much filler. It would be like, think of your favorite anime, and you're trying to watch like an important arc or something that, you know, is so well known. But in between that, they break up instances where they pause the story and they have the characters do things that aren't really connected to the story again. And then eventually things kick up again where it's like, okay, we're going to continue the story now. But by that point, it's like the audience is already kind of like, well, you did like 10 episodes of filler, and now you're finally going to get to the next part of the storyline. You know, there are some animes that do that. They literally pause what was happening in order to do like a random flashback sequence or something, and it takes away from the overall story. It's filler.
Thanks, guys, for all your opinions and all the kind words that everyone. I wish I could respond, but I think Luke's about to get more dialogue now, so I probably can't say anything.
Also, we need to push the short now, too.
Alright, well, if we're pushing the short, then I'll just read what...
I don't want to take any attention away from the musicians. Better change
I don't know, there's so many... You guys have a really interesting... A lot of ideas. Yeah, thank you, Raspberry. I love your opinions on video games in general, very insightful, and I feel like they try to make Miles an underdog, but turn him into a sidekick who just happened to be there, like you two said, says Raspberry. Yeah, like, I feel like they were trying to show how important Miles was by doing all these side quests, but somehow, along the way, by showing how important he was, they somehow messed it up. I don't know how they did. And actually made him not important to the story. Even though they were doing all these cool side quests with the jazz thing and everything. And, you know, like, they were really cool side quests. But for some reason, because it wasn't connected enough, it made him not as important at the final boss. Like, I like how they were connected at the beginning with Sandman. They were both talking Sandman down. They were both giving ideas. They were a team at the beginning. So, yeah. Thank you for the kind words, Raspberry.
We have to push this short now. And
thanks for the kind words, Alex, as I feel like... See, I don't mind about them adding stuff with... I don't mind them... I thought the jazz thing was cool. With, like, you know, everything. But, yeah, if they would have somehow connected... Like, a lot of these ideas are great. Like, I love jazz, so... and that's really cool that, you know, Miles lives in Harlem and everything like this. This is kind of cool, but yeah, connecting it with the villains would have been, yeah, if they had
we have
a way
to push the
do
short.
that.
All right, so anyway, guys and gals, it's a short time. The short is available. We're running 7 minutes late for the YouTube short. You know how this works. I need you guys to go over and watch the short. Tell us what you think about it. And every 15 minutes, mods, we're going to need to, you know... promote that or push that or whatever. So we're going to take about a 5-6 minute break, give you guys time to check out the short. Those of you new to the channel, basically the YouTube short helps put views into the channel. We do it at 8 in the morning as well as 11:30 at night. Tonight's YouTube short is on LEGO DC Supervillains. So just take the time, go and leave a comment. Every time you click the link, it counts as a new view. So it could be the difference between if 70 people watched more than once, that could equal like 200 or 300 views. It's not tied to your IP address, and it's very, very important that we push this. So take a little break, watch the YouTube short, guys, and be back to continue more of Miles' side story in just a little bit. So watch the short. We'll be back. All right, good job, guys and gals. You got up to 100 views for the first 15 minutes of the short. Mods, we're going to keep pushing the short every 15 minutes. But we're going to resume now where we were. And continue the Miles thing. So I was just talking to Amber real quick about this, and I just kind of want to explain this. You know how in this game you have options when the hunter bases are around, or the hunter blinds, hunter bases. You can actually play as either Peter or Miles. It doesn't matter what Spider-Man you use. The dialogue is a little different with Genki, but for the most part, you know, you're just playing as generic Spider-Man for those bases. It's just a side mission. Instead of doing the random filler episode like the Jazz Museum and stuff like that, what they could have done instead is Genki and Miles could have had a mission where they're literally tracking down hunters, or maybe there's a hunter who's their own age that goes to their school that they have to, you know, trail back to their base or something. You could have had like a civilian Miles thing through Brooklyn or something that would tie it to the storyline overall, instead of just like focusing on random like anime filler. It would have made for like a more intricate and well done storyline, which is exactly what the 2018 game was. What made the 2018 game so cool is every character revolved around the same story. Like they were all like a beautiful spider web. Every part had a connection to either a character or to a story point. Case in point, Martin Lee. Martin Lee has a connection to both Spider-Men. He is the boss of the aunt of Peter Parker, and Peter has known him for some time after Ben Parker's death. Miles has a animosity toward that person because he's responsible for killing his father. And the mother hates Martin Lee for killing her husband. So right there, you have one character that is tied to all the characters in that story. He also has a connection to both Otto Octavius and Norman Osborn, who are also characters in the story. It all mattered. It all connected. Same thing when Otto Octavius became the main villain, like from Chapter 2 onward. He was the one responsible for breaking out all of Spider-Man's villains to kind of create the Sinister Six. Even though Otto Octavius wasn't involved all the time, he was the gentleman who broke them all out to mess with Spider-Man. So it connected him in that sense, too.
Yeah.
You know, it built up the mystery. Whereas the problem that I have with the Spider-Man 2 game is even when there was filler in the 2018 game, it still felt like it was overall connected. It didn't feel like, okay, we're just going to go off and have Miles and Peter do their own thing that really has no connection whatsoever to the game. It's just like a fun side story that's, you know, if people don't have to go through the whole Venom and Craven thing, you can go do this. You know, it really, like the whole Miles Jazz Festival thing really should have been DLC. Like, it's like an hour and a half DLC
or in the
thing.
next Miles Morales game.
No, DLC.
Interesting.
It should have been paid DLC.
So the main story you think should have been something more connected to supervillains instead of like a fun... Yeah, it's more like a fun DLC side quest.
Like this guy right here, the dude who's responsible for the whole museum thing, he has no connection to anybody. He's just this offshoot character.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think Alex was saying something like that too, where he was saying he would have liked to see Miles more involved in like story with villains instead of the museum thing or whatever this is.
Technically the Mysterio character is not really involved, but Harry and Peter and MJ all are at Coney Island when Mysterio is there, so that kind of is your lead way into the story. It goes from Miles Morales meeting Mysterio, and then Peter and MJ and Harry come in and they do their whole Coney Island thing. It's still a part of the story. So when you're doing the side quest for Miles, it had a lead-off point from the actual story. So in a way, it was still connected. So while everything is an intricate spiderweb in the first 2018 game, for all the characters and them interacting and all that other stuff, the problem with the Spider-Man 2 game is both Miles and Peter go in their different... They split off. It's like they're web-swinging in different directions. And instead of coming together to make a beautiful spider web, they just kind of like have webs shooting all over the place.
And like I was saying something to Luke on the break, and I don't know if I can even say it on the video, but I do feel like there are certain reasons why people would be more sensitive to cutting certain side missions with Miles than with Peter, you know?
I wouldn't get into that.
I'm not going to get into it, but I feel like, you know, Peter already has so many games or whatever. People probably would feel bad. Like, oh, if somebody had a great idea, like, here's a great idea, and here's another great idea for a Miles side mission. And then you would feel bad cutting any of them. So he had a lot of them.
Most of the filler in this game was done by Sweet Baby Incorporated. Like, Miles, unfortunately, he has a lot of the filler side stories.
Whereas I feel like no one would have a problem cutting Peter's extra side missions, which I'm sure there has been extra side missions that were cut.
Peter has some fluff in this game that really has no relation to anything. The Howard stuff just ties in from the previous game. The robot dog thing really can be played by any Spider-Man. The photojournalist thing was kind of cool because you can kind of see like it being a lead into like a Spider-Man Origins thing. But for the most part, most of the Spider side missions that have the Spider-Man emblem on the world map, any Spider-Man can undertake that. Like,
yeah.
So.
I will say I feel like the Mary Jane missions were too long as well, personally.
They shortened the Mary Jane missions in this one. In the original game, they were way too long.
In
the 2018 game, the Mary Jane stealth stuff was way too long.
Okay.
Yeah, this would have been fun for DLC, I think. I think you're correct.
This place looks a lot better today than it did when...
Yeah, because I mean, look how the time of day changes. Like this is a completely separate day.
Yeah.
It takes place before the symbiote invasion. It's just something that's happening in New York, but it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, I may be the only one, but I kind of liked that Miles' girlfriend got to do a mission, even though it was small. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like they made, like, when they made it like, oh, it was silent, like you were hearing it like you were deaf, I felt like that was kind of weird because that made it hard to do the mission. Like, I could just hear nothing. There was no music. I got frustrated with that, but I didn't mind the mission. Yeah,
so this side mission here is basically just kind of a way to connect Miles Morales to the Miles Morales game. All the characters that you meet here in the park, you met as side mission characters, or you met them as part of Miles Morales' story in his game. Like, this holds no relevancy to the overall Spider-Man franchise. It's just like, this is... Basically, it's kind of like an Easter egg side mission. Which is fine.
I'm sorry,
but that's all it is.
I keep forgetting her name. I'm so sorry.
Hey,
I'm gonna
Miles.
look it up.
Steph, what's up? You here with Gloria?
Nah, she's working.
I just got here. Was looking for a trumpet player. You seen one anywhere?
Yeah, Teo is here, playing his trumpet.
Teo plays trumpet?
Mm-hmm. I think he was over near that far gate.
Great. Thanks, Steph. And say hi to Gloria for me.
Exactly! The Kingpin! The Kingpin is now kind of an arch enemy of Miles because of what Miles did in his game. And you would have thought they would have done something similar to that, you know, but it's just... The only real Spider-Man villain that Miles fights in this game is Martin Lee. And technically Kraven. That's it.
Thank you for the super chat, Alex.
And he randomly shows up to fight Venom at the end of the game.
I don't mind them showing his culture, but I don't want to sacrifice the story because of it. Yeah.
Thanks for the super chat, Alex.
Thank you, Alex, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So this character here, this barber, this guy was from the Miles Morales game. So basically, this is like an Easter egg for everything that you did in Miles Morales.
Yeah.
It is.
Miles, how you been?
Good. Busy. How's business at the barbershop?
Booming, my friend. How you liking those locks?
I like them. Took my mom a little while, but I think I won her over.
Ah, well, just keep twisting. But they're looking good.
Thanks.
So that barber explains why Miles has a different hairstyle in this game. Now there are other characters. That's the lady from Feast. Feast isn't even in this game, really. But the characters from Feast randomly appear in this. You've got, Teo is in this. Like, the food truck people here are also from the Miles Morales game. I don't know if people knew that or not, but the lady inside here, we rescued her in the Miles Morales game. She's right there.
Miles, can I get you anything?
No thanks. I'm looking for Teo. Have you seen him?
I've been busy in the truck, but I can hear him. Just follow the sound of his trumpet.
Will do. Catch you later.
See? So if you stay here long enough, you can see that's the lady we rescued, and then that's the dude who used to stand in front of her store sweeping.
So what was the person's comment about the Kingpin?
The Kingpin was a Miles side quest that actually tied him to the 2018 Spider-Man game, because Kingpin, when he was in jail, was trying to take over Brooklyn, or Harlem. So, you know, Miles stopped him, and then the Kingpin was like, I took that personally, and now the second Spider-Man is on Kingpin's radar. So, if Kingpin would have showed up in this game, there would have been a connection more for Miles with another Spider-Man villain. But Kingpin, they're probably saving for the third game, obviously.
Yeah. And, yeah, I feel like they made this game more for kids and teens and adults instead of making it for comic book fans, says Raspberry.
I mean, there's a way you could have done this cultural festival thing here. It should have happened right during the symbiote invasion.
Yeah, that would
You know, Miles would be here at the park, and then all of a sudden, you know, the symbiotes, like, start attacking people, and Miles has to defend people. Then right there, you've basically, like, thrown Miles into all the shenanigans with the symbiotes, and then have Martin Lee show up. You can do the whole thing where they go inside of Peter's head, they unlock anti-venom, but right there was another connection you could have made to have a more of an impact for Miles. Instead of basically putting him in his own part of New York City, he would be a part of the grander picture instead of just being a character that's just there. You know what I mean? And that wouldn't even be very difficult to write in, because, I mean, there's places all over New York that are attacking, the symbiotes are causing problems. This would have been the time, like, during the side mission, that the symbiotes, like, you know, you would have put this, obviously, the side mission toward the end of the game, and then the symbiotes would attack all these people here, and Miles would have to save characters that we met, things like that. Instead, it just becomes an Easter egg level, where it's like, oh, remember that character? Yeah, I remember that character.
Richard says, I don't like that they nerfed Peter also.
Yeah, Peter's personality was totally nerfed in this. Totally. Yep.
Yeah, no problem, Alex. Thank you again for this, your generosity. Thank you.
And Teo playing his trumpet. Teo's not playing his trumpet anymore. There's Spider-Man Cat. So, of course, this is just Easter egg stuff, but there's Spider-Man. There's Teo.
Hey, Spider-Man.
Hey, Miles.
Teo! Sounding good, man. Wow, I didn't know you played the trumpet.
I dabble. Hey, I was actually going to call you. When I was in keynote music this morning getting my horn fixed, some kids brought in a sax they found on the street. Was thinking it could potentially be the one from the museum. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I'm trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, 100%. You talking about keynote on Cathedral?
Yeah, talk to Eugene.
Thanks. Headed there right now. Trumpet sounds great, bro. Hey, Ma. Found the sax. On my way to pick it up now.
Ay, bendito. Angela will be so relieved. This just might save the museum.
Hey, did you know Teo played the trumpet? He's pretty good, too. Had an audience and everything. The whole park was bumping.
Precisely why this museum is so important. Music enriches our community and brings it together.
Is that my mom or Councilwoman Morales talking?
It's both. Ten cuidado, mijo.
Okay, so the festival's over. Now we go see the music thing. But yeah, I mean, right here with the whole... Somebody said before, I was reading the chat, I was scanning it, they were like, wouldn't it be interesting if Norman Osborn was the guy behind, the theft of the museum? He was the dude. It's like, well, why don't you take it a step forward? You already know that there's a Spider-Man villain that has a hatred for Harlem. What if the dude who he put up to, steal the musical instruments was the Kingpin? Then you could add, like, a quick phone call where Miles and Kingpin are going at it, That'd have been kind of funny. But he's just this random, like, rich guy that has no connection to anybody. And like I said, the Miles Morales stuff is just anime filler, but they could have done better. And they could have made Miles a character with substance instead of just a character that you can play as. You know? Ouch.
Yeah, and Raspberry, just to answer your question, I believe the pigeon guy actually passed away.
Howard died at the beginning of the stream.
On the beginning of the stream, he died.
Yeah, he's gone.
And thank you for the kind words. It's actually Luke that knows all about. I'll read his thing, but thanks for everything you and Luke have done for us. You practically were our teachers on comic books. It was mainly Luke, but thank you for saying you like my opinion once in a while, Raspberry. That's very sweet. But the only reason I somewhat get a good idea of like, oh, here is an idea what could have happened, even though I'm not really a huge comic book buff like Luke, I've been on these streams for so many years, so it rubs off on me. Don't you think, Luke? Or no? But yeah, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Raspberry. Thanks for the super chat. I think that was me earlier, says Droggle, saying that about Norman Osborn.
Okay, so that was Droggle, yeah.
Okay, awesome, Droggle.
Yeah, I think Kingpin would work better because he hates Harlem, so...
Yeah, thank you for the super chat. PJ says, this game, I feel like, focuses too much on Peter's story and not on other supporting characters like Miles, MJ, Harry, to further help the story. Interesting, PJ. Thank you for the super chat.
I totally agree with that.
I don't know why, but...
And when MJ and Miles and these other characters are around, it doesn't feel like they orbit the same story space as Peter. Except for, like, later on when, you know, MJ gets thrown into the mix and becomes Scream. Then, of course, she's, like, you know, connected. But it kind of felt like all their stuff is just kind of, like, not as interwoven as it should have been. There's going to be talking.
Yeah. Uh-oh. This doesn't look good.
Hey, Spider-Man! I was about to put an alert in your app.
What happened here?
A couple of creepy guys just dragged Eugene out of here. Definitely wasn't right. They went that way.
Thanks. I'll check it out.
Alright, so they dragged the music guy.
They did a good job on the clothes of these characters. I could see her jacket look like a leather jacket, like right up close.
I think that's very New York style for... I think this takes place in the fall. I'm not sure.
Some of the characters are nicely dressed, actually. Some of them are just hanging out.
Yoink.
Yeah, somebody else was coming in the chat saying they were just coming onto the stream saying I really loved the story for this game. And there was a lot of great things about the story for the game. Definitely.
Man, here comes the rest of the band.
Yeah, there was some...
Both Spider-Man games had a good story, but the first one, I feel like, had a better, like, climax at the end with the... Yeah. I don't even...
The first one had more emotional stakes. It had more... The writer was more talented, and it feels like they had time to do stuff where, like... To me, it felt like the 2018 Spider-Man game was kind of like one of those well-written episodes of the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s, where everything was connected.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
You okay?
A few bruises are okay, as long as they left me my keys. Here, take these and open my trunk. Charlie Parker saxophone. That's the real deal right there. I was getting ready to return it to the museum, and those guys busted in. Yeah, he used that to record his masterpiece, Ornithology, 1946. You a Bird fan?
My dad was. I don't know much about old music.
Old. When you hear an MC today, use syncopated accents, stress the offbeat, flow in and out of the rhythm. They ain't nothing but bebop.
I'll have to listen a little closely next time.
I'll get this back to the museum right away. Then I gotta call my insurance company.
Okay, thanks, man. If I could get into the phone these guys were using to communicate with the mastermind. Wow. All zeros is a number equivalent of password as a password. Just a midnight rendezvous with a criminal mastermind. No biggie.
Okay, so we gotta go to the roof now. Is it the roof? Yeah. But yeah, again, to add more substance, it would have been funnier to have like half of Miles' you know, slice of life thing happen during the symbiote invasion, or like something else like connected to maybe the Hunters or something that would like bring Miles' world into Peter's world, and so that they both like...
Yeah, remember that Halloween party? Was that the first game?
The Halloween party was the first game.
And then during the Halloween party, they had enemy attack.
Yep.
That would have been interesting. So they could have done the same thing in this game where they did like the jazz concert and then they had somebody attack it.
Also, the Halloween party was a lead that Spider-Man was following that was connected to the story. It wasn't just like kind of like, oh, Spider-Man's just going to a party. He went there because he was looking for someone who was connected to Devil's Breath. Like I said, unlike the Spider-Man 2 game, everything that happens, whether it's a side mission or the story or a character you meet, it has some connection to either Martin Lee, Devil's Breath, Norman Osborn, Otto Octavius, Peter Parker, Mary Jane, Miles Morales, Rio Morales, the cop who died, and other characters. Like I said, it is a spider web that is connected. It works.
Yeah.
Every part of it.
I feel like the side quests in the first game were like, where are the bad guys going to attack us next? We can never be safe because everything is on the edge. It's so exciting. And in the side quests in this game are like, I wonder what simple side quests we're going to do that are going to not be dangerous at all whatsoever.
No. This
and
game...
they're just going to kind of happen.
This game is basically, it shows what comic books are like for a lot of people. You buy a comic book issue and you're trying to continue a story, and then all of a sudden the next issue in that storyline is in a different Spider-Man book that you have to go and buy. It's not the next issue right after the one you read. It became
weird.
random filler, or it became a completely different story altogether. It's still a fun Spider-Man thing, but it doesn't have as talented writers working on it as the people who made the first game, because the people that made the first game, everything, and I literally mean everything, is connected. The people who made Spider-Man 2 were combining ideas from the Miles Morales game and from the 2018 Spider-Man game, and they tried to smush them together. But the characters, instead of feeling like a team, which is what Spider-Man was training Miles and him to be, they feel like they're work buddies, but they don't feel like it's a partnership. Also, Miles and Spider-Man don't really interact that much as what people thought they would. Like, they're characters that are in New York City, which is massive, but they're all kind of doing their separate thing until the end of the game, during the symbiote invasion. Everything else is separate, so... There are things they could have done with Miles' story that would have been better and that would have had a connection to Craven or Martin Lee or the Osborns or Kingpin, something. Instead, a lot of his stuff feels self-contained, and you can actually skip it because this like bugle thing, this cultural museum, has no relevance to anything. It would have been
it would have been a nice DLC.
Yeah. It would have been a good DLC.
To show off Miles' neighborhood at the end. That would have been cute.
It's just filler. It has no relevance to anything that happens later in the game. The saxophone, the missing piano, the drums, nothing ever gets brought up.
It's interesting to me because I like documentaries, but even when we were on the break, I was thinking, yeah, this feels like I'm watching a documentary because I'm looking up historical musicians and finding all this history and stuff. But it kind of breaks up the pace of the game. Yeah.
Even the annoying Spider-Man 2018 DLC revolves around after the events of the main game. It's not just like, oh, Spider-Man's doing his own thing. It's still interwoven into what the actual story was and the aftermath of both Devil's Breath and Otto Octavius and the Sinister Six. It had, a connection to it, and characters even mentioned some of the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think they kind of gypped Miles because Like, they really should have given him more important plot points towards the...
Linky, what are you doing?
Towards the main story. Oh. I feel bad. If I was Miles, I would feel bad because I would be constantly... Link. I would be constantly not included in the main story of the game. I'd be always doing my side thing, and I'd be like, when am I going to be included in the main story? I'm doing this other thing over here. I don't know.
Where did speaking of Miles' story, where did it go? Like, he was doing it and now it's missing.
It'll be more as you like together or cohesive, or there'll be more of a team. Oh wait, it won't be a team in the next one because Miles will basically, maybe they will eventually though.
Peter will probably come back near the end of the game.
So it'll be just like this one again, where they'll be doing their own thing.
Kind of, except Miles will be like the focal point because he's the Spider-Man going forward. Like, Peter will come out of retirement probably to fight Green Goblin.
So
but
they'll be on their doing their separate things in life again.
Kind of. Bad kitty.
So Link is like, yeah.
Link is like, I took that personally.
I really like how you get to play, show off some of these suits. We didn't really. When I played. I started playing the 2018 Spider-Man, and I wore the same suit every single time.
Do you want to know what this game feels like? It feels like, I don't know if people remember this, but Ultimate Spider-Man. The Ultimate Spider-Man game had so many different, like, branching story parts that the connection between Venom and Peter was there, but their stories felt, like, so far apart, and both characters were playable. And you could do different things with the different characters, but it never really felt like they were inhabiting the same space. They were just kind of, they're around, but like, instead of revolving around each other, they just kind of like run opposite of each other. That's basically what this game is like, especially when you incorporate the Miles Morales missions that have no relevancy to the overall story. It's just kind of something fun that you can do while you're taking a break from the main story stuff. And Miles' story stuff, if you notice, they're never actually this yellow icon, see?
Yeah.
It's usually like some type of like, in this case, this is a trumpet. Another case, it looked like a spider on the map or something like that, you know? The main story stuff is always in yellow. And aside from that one or two missions, like where Miles has to go to Coney Island and he gets this yellow marker here, or he's doing something with Martin Lee, he never gets this yellow icon. He always gets like something else to differentiate and tell players, okay, here is what story stuff is, this is what side quest stuff is, and this is what Miles stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hear yet. I'll just hang for a bit until the party starts.
You were supposed to pay us on our last delivery.
You'll get paid when I get everything. Where is it?
Where is what?
Lewis said you were bringing the saxophone.
Lewis said? Lewis got picked up by the cops. He don't got no saxophone.
You set this meeting up!
No, we didn't. Now where's our money?
Where is the saxophone?
Darren? The big donor from the museum? Better bust up this party and have a talk with him. I should get the whole bunch wrapped up before they hurt someone.
See, especially this stuff doesn't make any sense. The whole Darren thing. How did Darren get connection to, like, criminal gangs in Harlem? He's just some rich white guy. You know? He's not really going to have that type of... This is all sweet baby nonsense. What they could have done to tie this into the whole Spider-Man stuff is the reason why this Darren guy was able to get the connections in the first place would be because of the Kingpin. These are Kingpin's guys.
Yeah, and where's the Kingpin this whole game?
Kingpin's in jail.
Oh.
But he was in jail during the Miles Morales game, and he was running crime in Harlem.
I have a question, though. Like what you were saying, that they have certain color missions for Miles on the map. Certain color missions for main story, which is usually Peter on the map.
Main story stuff is usually yellow.
And then they have a third color that's for side missions or something.
That's gonna have to be a longer
Well,
conversation.
so Miles or Peter can do the main story missions, or no?
This is a Miles specific mission, so only Miles can do it.
But what about Peter's missions? Can Miles do any of Peter's missions?
I
was just wondering because it would have been Oh, it would have been interesting if you could actually play the game where Peter could solve the jazz thing and Miles could actually fight the main villain if he wanted to. Like, you could completely mix it up and fight whoever you wanted. You could have Peter come here to the jazz concert. You could have Miles beat up the main bad guys and then have Peter just sitting on the bench. Like, it would be interesting if you could have anyone do anyone's mission. Like, it would completely interchangeable.
No.
So you could play as, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Spider-Man. And I assure you, there's a very reasonable explanation.
That seems extremely dubious. Wait till Councilwoman Morales hears you were involved in this.
Leon, here! Time to exterminate a spider.
Darren, stay back.
Where did they get a rocket launcher randomly? But here's the thing. How I was able to make my first playthrough really good is I had Miles handle pretty much all the side missions that were connected to the story. So when it came to hunting down Kraven the Hunter, because Spider-Man was dealing with the more important stuff, I gave Miles the Robin role, and he was the one going and taking down all the Hunter bases.
Yeah.
So then Ganke and Miles' reaction was that of kind of like a story-related thing. Like, they were on really patrol, cool, and they dealt with, you know, all of the Hunter bases.
So in your playthrough, you kind of made Miles more connected by giving him all of the side story stuff.
Yes, whereas the side story stuff, for the most part, like all the Hunter missions and some of the other stuff, can all be handled by either Spider-Man. But what players learn is you actually have different dialogue that Ganke and Miles do when they're talking together about the Hunter stuff, whereas you know, Peter and Miles say, or Peter and Ganke say different things.
Yeah.
So you know, but personally, if I was doing it again, I would always have Miles go after the Hunter bases, because it adds that connection between Kraven the Hunter, Miles, Spider-Man, and then later the whole Venom stuff.
Yeah, so you connected it with the way you did your playthrough. That's cool.
So they made it optional, but actually those quests where you're going after and finding the Kraven bases, like that little side stuff, has more of a cohesiveness to the storytelling than Miles' side missions. So Miles interacting with that stuff is actually better for Miles' character as the overall story arc of the game, instead of like the Harlem stuff and some of the other like random slice of life stuff that they give him.
Yeah, it is like slice of life. That's exactly. If it was an anime, it'd be slice of life.
Yeah, slice of life filler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to do with his daily life and not so much his daily life as Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's why I was saying, like, whoever wrote the first game, they orchestrated a storyline that was so well done, and it meshed with all these different characters. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
Police are on their way. Gotta catch up to Darren. You're still there.
But Darren here, he's like this nobody. Like, it would make sense that he would have some connection to the Kingpin or something, which would explain how he was able to get involved with organized crime. Because organized crime would have, like, you know, robbed him blind anyway. They wouldn't have even worked with him.
Yeah, it is weird that, like, even in the first game, I feel like the random business guy in a suit, they just randomly put him in as a placeholder. He didn't seem like a supervillain or anything. The same as this.
Not today, Darren.
Here's another thing to notice about Miles Morales' game. Just like the 2018 game, Miles Morales', even his side missions, had an overall, like, arc that connected to what was happening with the Tinkerer. Because it involved Harlem.
Yeah.
So even though you were doing... It never really felt like filler stuff, because it was all kind of connected to Miles' game as a whole.
Yeah.
The characters you met, the neighborhood you interacted with.
Yeah, you're right, Luke.
Wasted asking about operations and security. All lies. So you can learn how to steal the collection.
But my family...
No. I'm sure you do care about this music. But those things don't belong to you. They belong to this community.
Let's go, sir. You're under arrest.
See, he's basically like... You know what he feels like? He feels like he's a member of Neighborhood Watch. Like, this side mission in particular, it feels like he's not Spider-Man, he's Neighborhood Watchman. You know?
Yeah.
Just the way he gets so aggressive about the Harlem neighborhood he lives in, you know? It's like Queens could be on fire and like somebody's jaywalking in Harlem and be like, hey, you don't jaywalk in my community, man. I'm gonna have to write you up. Meanwhile, across the way, Brooklyn is burning down, but here you have Miles like reading the rights to somebody. We don't do this in Harlem, man. I'm gonna have to give you a ticket. I'm gonna have to tell the councilwoman about you. Today, Brooklyn burned down to the ground today because Spider-Man was too busy dealing with a jaywalker over in Harlem.
Well, he's keeping Harlem very, very safe.
Yeah.
On the news, you see like the entire city of New York City is burning down. It's like, and the only block that's not burning down is Harlem. And Miles is watching TV, sipping tea. He's like, awesome. I'm doing a great job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's keeping one part safe, one place at a time.
I don't even think you can end the cultural museum unless you look at all the exhibits. Like,
wow.
I think you have to look at all the exhibits before you can leave. I'm gonna go try and talk to my mom and see if like I can end this. Well, first, Teo's my favorite side character. Teo and Spider-Cat.
Hey, Miles. I figured I'd better come see that saxophone in its rightful place.
It was your tip that helped with the saxophone recovery.
Oh, not really. It was all ours, Spider-Man. The guy, not the cat.
Well, it was a community effort. Give your Spider-Man some ear scratches for me.
The reason why people like Arkham more than Spider-Man games is because, like, for the most part, Spider-Man games are, like, fun, bright, happy things, but the storytelling usually is never this cohesive. The 2018 game, the Miles Morales game, it all, like, revolves around all the same characters, and it works. Whereas the Spider-Man 2 game, the storyline gets all janky. Arkham Knight, in particular, everything that happens in Arkham Knight, every character that you meet, even the thug dialogue and that stuff, it's all connected. You may not think it's connected, but if you listen to the things that the thugs are talking about, to the banter of Alfred and all these other people, it's all interwoven together. You know? Like, it all matters. Even the DLC stuff with Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul, and, I don't remember the other character. It was Mad Hatter.
I just wanted to look at the museum.
It all worked as part of the story. Like, it all was part of Batman's last night.
Yeah.
You know? It all felt like it was. Whereas, like, all this stuff, it's like, I don't...
You got excited about this drum kit, though.
That's a Slingerland drum set.
See, you liked this section.
I'm starting to tell the difference now when a game like includes stuff about cultural heritage and all this other stuff. I can actually tell when the game veers off into Sweet Baby Incorporated territory. Like before,
but this is cool though. At least you're learning about something cool.
Yeah,
Jazz.
this is basically like taking or watching a documentary about like jazz music, but that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, when you look at the overall story for the Spider-Man 2 game and all the action and all the character interactions and things like that, you can tell when that's when they were writing for a Spider-Man thing. And then when they bring in the consultant agency for this stuff, it feels completely different than the main game. It's nice, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's like when if you would add a side mission with a puppy, but it would make the game too long.
Here's another comparison for you. What you're experiencing right now is you're going from Zack Snyder's action-oriented stuff to Joss Whedon's filler stuff in Justice League. So if you were really paying attention to the Justice League 2017 theatrical movie, you could feel and you could see the difference between the way that Zack Snyder's shots and storytelling was going, and then when Joss Whedon would come in. But what you don't understand is this is disjointing. This is not consistent with the overall like tone of the game, feel of the game, or anything. It's just, it's here, and it's presented well, but it's a completely different thing than the overall, story of Spider-Man 2. And I've played through the game 4 times now, and I finally noticed this.
It would be like if you added a side mission with a puppy, but that made the game too long. So you would have to cut the puppy side mission, and everyone was like, oh, no, don't cut the puppy side mission. That's what the Miles Morales missions are like. It's like, No, you don't want to cut the jazz cultural heritage mission. It would be like cutting the puppy mission. Miles' missions are the puppy missions.
See,
they're all really nice, so you don't want to cut them.
In the Miles Morales game, Harlem is another character in the story. Everything that happens in Harlem in Miles Morales, that game, is connected in some capacity to Roxxon, Miles Morales, Rio Morales, and the Tinkerer. It's all part of that thing. When you do these little side aspects of Harlem, it doesn't fit the overall feel of the Spider-Man game.
But you would include it in as a DLC thingy.
Yes, I would include it as paid content. Yes,
all right.
as DLC.
I looked at everything. I didn't want to press the buttons because I didn't want to talk over.
Try to talk to the mom and see if you can leave.
I don't know where she is.
She's right there in the dress.
Where? Oh.
She'll probably say you have to talk to every character.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Nope.
Angela told me the museum has a record number of new memberships.
Seriously?
They're gonna be okay.
Couldn't have done it without you, Ma.
Now hear me out. What if we really teamed up on the next one? I can get my own suit.
Ma.
Maybe. Algo con brillo.
Ma, stop. Stop. Stop it. Get out of here. Dance with me. Show me how to salsa.
Forget DLC. This should have been post-game content.
Yeah, you could have done post-game.
This stuff would work as post-game.
Yeah, Drago was saying you could have done this after the final fight.
Yes! Yes!
Because it's nice. It's really nice.
After everything that happened with the whole...
and then you could have had the dancing scene towards the end with Miles and his mom.
If you save this stuff until the end of the game, it makes sense. Because it doesn't actually involve anything from the main story. But if it's just something to do, then it works as post-game content.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work as like a story during the main story.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk over this girl. Is she important?
Yeah.
So I think you had an interesting thing what you were saying, like.
New opportunity for budding artists to share in the joys of responsible art.
See, I would have cut this person out as well, but that's just me.
I mean, she just adds to more of the Harlem stuff.
Yeah, oh, I forgot. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. I forgot what she was talking about.
She's signing next to me. She says she's...
Well...
Sir? Oh, excited to be here.
She was in the last game, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just looked way different.
She was thinner in the last game. And younger.
Thanks, Danica.
They made her look so much older now.
But hasn't it only been a very short amount of time?
A year.
Oh my gosh. That's...
I was born deaf.
She doesn't look like the same person.
Didn't come easy at first, so I drew my feelings.
Also, she was supposed to be Vietnamese. She doesn't look Asian anymore. She looks Latino.
When I found a copy of one of my pieces up for
yeah,
sale,
I don't know.
No, I'm just telling. She doesn't look Vietnamese anymore.
Well, they changed her makeup too. I think.
A union that protects NYC artists of all mediums from theft.
That's brilliant.
No, that's true. I would agree to that.
Like this. Can you tell us more about what the coalition is doing to protect artists?
We look out for each other, make sure we don't see copies where copies shouldn't be. And we have digital activists keeping an eye out for unauthorized online dealings. We're 63 artists strong, and growing every day.
I love this. Awesome organization protecting awesome people. How can budding artists get in touch?
Through our website.
Oh yeah, I remember her in the first
Danicast
game.
blog homepage. Send a picture or two of your pieces and your weight and... Oh no, your name. And, we'll be in touch.
There you have it, folks. The Cooper Arts Coalition. Any words of advice before we bid you adieu?
Yeah. Don't steal art. Not cool.
Can't argue with that, Haley.
Oh, that one was all me. Haley says if you do, the artists might haunt you in the afterlife.
I can't prove
Oh
they won't.
yeah, she's saying what Haley was saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over that. I think what you were saying was correct, where like, like you said that they tied in the missions better with the Miles Morales game. Like, his missions were tied to the villain better in Miles Morales.
Alright, so this is what she looked like in the first game. You can see she looked like, there she is. There's a night and day difference. That's her in the first one.
Yeah, her hair being shorter makes her look a lot different, for sure.
She was supposed to be Vietnamese or a Filipino descent.
I didn't mean to talk over the thing with Haley. I like Haley. I messed up. But yeah, I was just trying to say, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, they did a better job in Miles Morales and Spider-Man 1. Both of those games did a better job.
That's because in Miles Morales, like where he comes from, which is the Harlem area, the entire part of Harlem became a side character in the story. From Teo's to the lady that you rescue, to the Tinkerer, like trying to protect, to one of the bridges that gets blown up. All this stuff, it all evolves.
So they should have
around.
They should have blown some bridges up in Harlem in this game.
No. But what they should have done is, like, their marketing thing was that both Spider-Man and Miles had important storylines in Spider-Man 2. That's what their marketing was. So I don't think they could have included Miles Morales' stuff for post-game, but it would have worked better for post-game because it would pick up right after Spider-Man retired and Miles is the only Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then you could have focused more on Miles' cultural stuff as well as, you know, his more chill way of doing things. You know, everything that was a Miles side storyline thing could have worked as post-game because we could have filled in the gaps a little bit to kind of, you know, build up people's appetite for the third game. Like, you know, instead of it just kind of having it abruptly end with the whole, like, Venom and symbiote thing, you know, and, you know, you're cleaning up the remnants of symbiotes.
Oh my
there would have been more to it than that.
I just thought of something. In the next game, when Miles is going to be taking the reins, they're going to have even more hoodie suits for Miles.
They're probably going to dial back some of the suits because they didn't get very well received. In fact, there are several Miles suits that get ratioed, like, to this day, where people do not like them.
Like,
so I don't see them bringing back. I'll show you an example.
I think the hoodie suits were super cute, but like
this suit cost them the Game Awards.
Oh wow, why?
It's terrible.
Because of his hair sticking out of it?
Everything about this suit, everything that you see here is terrible.
Because he's wearing tennis shoes with it?
The whole suit looks bad. Everything about it looks bad. It's not just the tennis shoes. It's not just the hoodie.
Oh,
everything about this suit is terrible.
So they added a lot of things to it. The hoodie, the shoes, the hair.
The shoes also say Adidas on them. So this was basically, it looks like he's wearing a sweatsuit, like for like some type of athlete or something like that. It looks terrible. This cost them the Game Awards. That's what everybody jokes about.
Yeah.
Another suit that probably won't be coming back that people can't stand is this suit. This suit is bad.
Yeah, what's going on with this suit?
Yeah, this is a mess.
I don't know what's happening.
Another suit that probably I've seen people not like is this one. This is a 10th anniversary Miles Morales suit.
What's happening in this?
Yeah, that's what everybody
picture?
asks. Everybody's like, "What is wrong with this suit?" There's so many things wrong with this suit. So many things wrong.
It would have been better if they took comic book suits and put it in the
This
game.
is a comic book suit, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. I feel so bad
it's pretty
for
bad.
whoever made that comic
This
book.
was Miles Morales' latest suit in Marvel Comics for a while, and it was terrible. This suit is fine. This is when Miles is in his 40s.
That's kind of cool looking. I don't mind so much. The hoodies make Miles stand out and make him his own Spider-Man. But it's almost like so many hoodies. But I guess if he wants to go full on every suit have a hoodie on it, okay then. If that's what makes him happy. But I also like seeing him in like a suit that makes him more look like a spider.
Yeah, these suits are terrible too.
That one with the glasses looks like something that should have been cut at the drawing board.
This is
I don't
DLC.
know how that got into the
This was a free update when New Game Plus happened.
That's weird looking.
Yeah.
I guess that it's supposed to be funny. Like, is that what it is? Like, it's supposed to be a joke or like?
I mean, it is a joke, but I mean, there's serious. Like, this is the tracksuit thing. This was the coolest thing they could have done with Miles. This is my favorite suit.
And then the black and red one is cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love the different color schemes you can do. So this is my favorite. This is my favorite Miles suit. Like, bar none. This is the best. This is Miles' style, Miles' personality, and it works so well. You know,
Peter has some bad suits in the game.
Oh,
I think.
Peter has a lot of bad suits in this game, too. I can't stand some of Peter's suits. But what was I wearing before? I was wearing my DJ suit. My DJ suit's over here. I like the purple because it's like, you know, he's the Prowler's nephew. So.
I don't know why, but if Haley became a Spider-Girl or Spider-Woman, I feel like her suit would have artistic stuff on it, like flowers.
They already introduced who's going to be the character. Cindy Moon's going to be in it.
Oh.
Cindy Moon is, instead of the love triangle between MJ and Cindy Moon and Peter Parker, your love triangle in the third game is going to be Cindy Moon,
I'm not a fan
Haley, and this guy.
I'm not a fan of love triangles, so I'm going to be on Team Haley, and I'm going to...
Oh, I'm Team Haley all the way.
And I am very upset about... I'm already angry at Cindy Moon already, and the game hasn't even started.
But that's what they're going to do.
I don't like love triangles because they hurt people and hurts people.
Love triangles hurt people. They do. Yep. All right, so tomorrow, guys, you will have the Venom thing, hopefully. Like, the Venom main story, which is over here, so I'll get a dope picture of Venom. See how this, right there, Amber, on the story thing, it shows Peter's face? That's how you know it's the main thing. But my problem with Spider-Man 2, when you complete it, it really doesn't have enough post-game content to keep you satisfied. Like, it's just random missions like, oh, go stop burglaries or go rescue people from cars. So that's why Insomniac, as a choice, should have included, like, the Cultural Museum and the school and some other things as, like, Miles Morales, like, post-game content. Instead of having it kind of be sandwiched in the main game where it doesn't belong. Because in context to everything that happens in the story, it doesn't matter.
I was just thinking, since we get to go to a museum for Miles, for Peter, we should get to go to a science museum and learn about quarks and atoms and, like...
The science museum was already done in Miles Morales' game.
Oh, I got confused.
The Norman Osborn Science Museum. So you were talking about having Norman Osborn have ties to Miles Morales. He kind of already did, because it was the science museum or science festival or whatever that he was sponsoring. Norman Osborn was.
Oh. I got distracted. This person said I'm officially a father of a beautiful baby girl. AVG firm.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, AVG.
I'm very happy for you and your wife, and as well as having a successful pregnancy and a healthy baby. That's an amazing blessing. Congratulations. Wish you nothing but the best, and that your family has, nothing but happiness and love.
I hope Goblin will be done justice in Spider-Man 3, says Alpha.
Yeah, I hope. I think he will be, but I mean,
I agree. Miles is like the neighborhood watch, says Stryker.
That's the problem I have with Miles. I noticed, like, in the first game, he idolized Spider-Man, and in the second game, like the Miles Morales one, he wasn't like a neighborhood watch guy. He was trying his best to be, New York Spider-Man while Peter's away. People joke about Spider-Man being Spider Cop, but basically Miles is very passionate about his neighborhood where he lives, and he's kind of the Spider Cop of Harlem.
I can imagine somebody jaywalking. Why were you jaywalking? It's like, I didn't mean to. I swear. I didn't know there wasn't a crosswalk here. Swear to me. Who are you? Who are you? I'm the neighborhood watch.
Like, that would basically be like, if Peter was only Spider-Man in the Queens area, like, all he did was care about Queens, invested in Queens. Like, Queens is where Peter lives, but you don't see Peter basically being neighborhood watch Spider-Man. Like, when he became Spider-Man, all of New York was important. And the problem I have with Sweet Baby, who did the Miles Morales stuff, is, again, they're focusing on everything about Miles being associated with his culture, and he's so much more than that. Like, basically, they're regulating Miles to a stereotype. Like, all the cool stuff that he does involves Harlem.
Yeah, it would be neat. Like, he should do some things in Harlem and be always watching over Harlem because that's his neighborhood. But he should also be doing important things everywhere in New York, because he's like evolving to be the Spider-Man for all of New York.
Right. So that's why when I played this game the first time through, like, every side mission that I could do that was like, you know, it's Sandman or whatchamacallit? Sandman, the hunter bases, the spider bots, anything that had some type of like connection or line to the main story that Miles could be a part of, I had him do. So with the hunters, he took down all the hunters. We learned more history, and then I felt like Genki then gave the information to Peter later on to kind of fill him in on, you know, what's going on with Kraven's family. But Miles was the one who in that, you know, went around and did stuff. And the same thing when he was doing the spider bots and when he was doing some of the other stuff. The Sandman missions, it tied him more to the Marco stuff. And then when you had to switch to Spider-Man at the end to deliver the memories to Marco's daughter, it made sense, and it kind of connected both Spider-Men together.
Luke,
What?
I have a question. If you were a superhero and you had to have DLC or post-game content about yourself in a game, what kind of museum would you visit in your post-game?
An Irish drinking museum.
Oh no. Oh my gosh, Luke, please.
Revolving around my culture. Men running around in plaid kilts and drinking lots of booze.
Okay, would your DLC be optional or...
Oh no, it would be thrown in right during the main story.
Why, Luke? Why?
Because!
Oh, please, no. I didn't mean to be offensive to your culture. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Maybe we could have it as...
You have to tell people the finer culture of Irish heritage.
No, look, I mean, I appreciate you. I'm not trying to be offensive. I appreciate you. You know what? You're right. We should do that. I don't want to do any exciting missions. It should be a half an hour of going through an Irish drinking museum.
Half an hour or nothing, be 45 minutes, and you're just walking around.
I appreciate that, and I'm definitely not going to cut that side mission out of your culture.
Aye.
Well, I'm ready to go. I have heard enough. I mean, I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everyone's side missions.
Do kids still call those kicks? Because I want his kicks. I love those glow-in-the-dark sneakers. Like, I would want those, because then I probably wouldn't trip at night. Like, if I had my feet light up like that.
That's the question of the day for the chat. If you guys were a superhero, and you had a post-game side mission where you visited a museum that represented you, what would the museum be? Drago has already said mine would be a maple syrup factory.
It'd probably be a gaming museum.
Oh, a gaming museum would be fun. Yeah, it could be any museum. A science museum.
I'm a gamer,
maple
so...
syrup. I feel like mine would be a Coca-Cola factory museum because I used to drink a lot of Coca-Cola.
What I most identify as is a gamer. So I've been a gamer for 30 years.
You do a retro gaming museum.
No, just gaming museum in general.
There you go.
I play more than just retro. I like current gen, I like last gen, I like handheld.
Yeah, it would be cool next time Miles has a mission or a museum, he could do the music. Oh wait, he did do a music.
No, they don't need to. You don't need to do a science fair for Miles in the next game. You don't need to do a museum. You've already done those. You don't want to, you know, and no park festival either, because you've done that. Miles is getting associated with park festivals now because this is his third one.
Every time I see Miles, I think we're going to go to a museum. This is going to be great.
Think of it this way. Miles went to a Christmas festival in his game.
In a museum.
Amber?
Yes.
He went to a Christmas festival at the beginning of his Miles Morales game, and then later in his game, he went to a park festival. In this game, he went to another park festival, but this time it was a music festival. Last time it was a Harlem eating festival.
Oh yeah, last time we had food. This time we have eating. Next time it'll be dancing.
No.
After that it will be movie festival.
So what they need to do is they need to have Miles do something normal. Like in the third game, have Miles and Haley go to a movie date.
Cute.
And just pick up the game with them like, going to the movies or coming back from a restaurant or something.
I want the date thing.
And to change it up, it shouldn't be in Harlem. It should be in Queens, or maybe they went into Manhattan, or maybe they went to go see a ballet or something. You know, change it up a little bit. Take them to a concert. Everything that Miles does doesn't have to revolve. It's not like he's stuck in Harlem. Like, all of New York City is his playground. He's Spider-Man, right? So they need to break free of some of these stereotypes that they're, like, kind of constricting Miles to.
Well, I have a question then.
Because they're not keeping Peter in Queens all the time.
Oh, they're not? He doesn't go only in Queens?
No.
Then? Oh, okay.
No,
so
Peter's missions like involved all of New York. Most of Miles' missions in this game are all in Harlem.
Does Peter take MJ on dates that aren't in Queens?
You can't. You haven't taken Mary Jane on a date in a video game since the Tobey Maguire games.
Oh, they haven't even gone on a date.
Yeah.
Well, then Miles will be one-upping him because he'll actually go on a real date. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I would like to see some of that happen, actually.
And then, well, I'm giving Miles a hard time, but I can just imagine Miles taking, darn it, Haley on a cute date, and they go out to dinner and
yes, Joseph, go to Brooklyn, exactly. Change it up.
There you go, Joseph. Yep.
Change it up.
They go on a date, and then after this, Mary Jane is like, never mind, I don't want to say it because I'm going to be mean, but Mary Jane is like, how come you never take me on a date? And Peter's going to be like, because you're always yelling at me and mad at me about something, so we never go on a date.
What I'm saying, Huey, is I agree with you. Miles didn't feel like he got to do a lot in the game. I think that his cultural festival and like some of the other stuff that he did for his like quote story stuff would have worked better as post-game content after the whole Martin Lee stuff, after the Venom stuff. It would have worked better with that because we'd be transitioning into having Miles be the main lead going forward, as well as, getting used to all the Harlem adventures that, we're probably going to have to go through with Miles in his third game. At the same time, what they should have done is there should have been more of a focus to have Miles, again, connected to the story to feel like he is a part that you cannot take out of the story, because for the most part, you can just, not bother with Miles' stuff at all, and he never really, meshes with the story until the end with the whole symbiote invasion and figuring out sound waves and stuff like that. You could have had Miles track down people that were connected to either Kraven the Hunter or to Martin Lee. There could have been some sleuthing stuff where he could be trying to follow leads about where Martin Lee is. There are things they could have done to kind of keep that whole story progression going and branch off into Miles territory where he's still doing stuff that's important to the overall arc. Especially trying to find out info about Martin Lee. They could have had, cameo appearances of some of the remaining Demon Gang, that both Miles and Peter interacted with in the first game. There are things and choices they could have done, and they didn't. And that's what would have made it better.
I'm going to send this to Insomniac, because I think everyone in the chat here has given some great ideas, and, I think, Insomniac needs to see this stream, because I think we did a good brainwashing session together. I hope that they see this video, because I hope that they will have some good ideas, because I'm picturing Miles now being, trying to, oh yeah, there's a fire, I need to help a cat or something, or I need to save somebody, and it's like, darn it, I don't know how to get there, and then he asks for directions. He's like, sorry, I only usually solve crimes in Harlem.
No, that's not what happens. No, that's not what happens.
Because it's my game forced me to be in there.
On the news, they say there's a massive Spider-Man villain tearing up Rockefeller Center. And Spider-Man is on his way from Harlem, but he sees Teo's cat stuck in the tree.
Oh, yeah.
So then he goes and helps Spider-Man because he sees Teo Spider-Man, you're in the tree! I gotta get you! And Miles is like, hold on, Teo, coming to help, man! Swings down, he gets the cat out of the tree, and by that point, Rockefeller Center has been flattened. But, Harlem is happy, but the rest of the New York is kind of where was Spider-Man?
Like they said in the last game, he's our Spider-Man, which means...
They claim him, yeah.
Plot twist. Plot twist. If he doesn't save every cat from the tree in Harlem, everyone gets angry at him, so he's actually more afraid of his neighborhood than anyone else. So he makes sure he takes care of them. He
belongs to Harlem. He is ours. We lay claim to him. You cannot have him. The rest of New York is... No, he's not New York Spider-Man.
He goes across, he saves the world across town, then he comes back to Harlem, and the entire town is surrounding him. They're like, what's your problem? There was a cat stuck in the tree for almost 30 minutes. What's wrong with you? You think a burning building across town is better than us?
Okay. So, anyway, guys, the Slice of Life-ness will continue because I'm doing Harvest Moon for Lisa tonight in just a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching the YouTube short. The YouTube short, you guys were able to pick up to 275 views after an hour. That's not bad. We could still do better, and we're still going to push the YouTube short on the next stream. Your live streams tomorrow are as follows. There will be a Spider-Man stream, most likely. There will be another episode of Freedom Planet, and Ace Attorney is not doing well. Ace Attorney, after midnight, is at 895 views. So if you guys want another episode of Ace Attorney, which is going to be a crazy case that was left on a cliffhanger, it needs 1,000 views. So you still need to get 112 views by 7 a.m. You know, so I would hustle on that if you guys want that. If not, I will replace that with a Star Wars stream. We'll do something Star Wars related. But right now, so far, as follows, these are your streams tomorrow. Freedom Planet Episode 5. Spider-Man Episode 14 with Venom on the thumbnail. And hopefully Ace Attorney. So good luck, everybody. And I will see you guys for another Slice of Life stream, this time on Harvest Moon 64, brought to you by Ultimate VIP channel member, Lisa. Alright guys, God bless, happy gaming. Thanks so much for watching. We had fun hanging out with you guys. You are the best community on the internet. Let no one tell you otherwise, because you guys are all breathtaking. And we will see you, or I will see you, in about 15-20 minutes. God bless, happy gaming. Peace.
See ya!